Hello, Cantaloupe. How's it going? Oop. Oh no, Victoria 3 is not responding. Oh no. This is terrible. It might be Jover as soon as it begun, boys. We just launched the game with the mod that we wanted to try, and it just bug splats instantly. We'll still do some sort of stream, even if it's insta cursed. But hello, Cantaloupe. How's it going? Big nice. We are relaunching, and hopefully we don't splat. If we splat, we'll do something else. I wanted to take a look at this mod. This mod looks super interesting to me. I wish there were a lot more unique company options, and someone asked me to sub in for a game for them, which I declined to do, mainly because I don't like picking up other people's multiplayer games, but also because it was on stream day tomorrow. But they said they were playing with this mod, which looked pretty interesting, and so yeah. Any plans to try Basilia Romanian 1736? This wasn't upvoted as much, but we might get to it. I kind of want to low-key try a whole bunch of stuff. What's for dinner? We had some bean and cheese burritos post-workout from Del Taco. I don't have enough protein for the day, so probably going to drink egg whites later, which is kind of gross. Especially because, I mean, it's probably too early in the stream for this, but when you put a bunch of egg whites in a cup, it looks like something else. And it's milky and white, and it's kind of gross, and the aftertaste is gross. But that's how it's a good way to add protein without adding calories. Friends have been playing recent updates, and say it's pretty cool. Really enjoyed it on 1.5. Yeah, so I think we're going to poke around quite a bit. So we're going to, currently on the Patreon, where we are voting what mods to play. The one that's going to be USA oriented is currently leading, which means we're probably going to start a new USA run tomorrow. But I just wanted to see, hey, what companies can we add in? And we see, for example, this is not in vanilla. This is the Coca-Cola company. So I think what we're going to be doing today is mainly just poking around, taking a look at a whole bunch of different companies and deciding what we think is good. You know, just checking and poking through this mod more so than the actual playing. And so this type of thing. New text as well, so the game changes balance a ton. Oh, whoa, new text. What new technologies? That looks normal. This mod adds new text. I didn't see new text in the mod description. I don't see any here unless, I mean, I'm skimming over it quickly. All that looks pretty normal. Millennia when? I thought about playing Millennia instead. I was kind of feeling playing Millennia. So here's the thing is, when I play Millennia, I get way fewer viewers. But maybe we just need to blast it and try and break in on Millennia. See, the thing is like, if I really, really want to... If I want to make content for Millennia, I probably have to blast several hundred hours of Millennia, and sort of build a base not only of like my knowledge, but also people that are interested in it. And I don't know if I want to commit several hundred hours into Millennia like that. Especially because EU5 looks just absolute banging as well. Hey Thatch, how's it going? Imbecilia mod? Oh, okay, Imbecilia mod. We could check out that mod. Maybe we just check out that mod on stream in a little bit. I do want to take a look through some of these companies. So we have the Coca-Cola company first. Opium. I don't know. Para usar drogas is the reason why the why the opium company is in here, because cocaine. There's no cocaine company, but we have food, sugar, and opium minus radicals plus influence. It seems not very good. We have the John Deere company, agriculture throughput. Agriculture throughput. This is pretty good company. This is really solid. We have Jack Daniels. Yeoman farmer approval. Minus radicals, not very good. Food company is not a very good thing to have on. Minus arms industries building through, or plus arms industries building throughput on top of an arms building. Remington, and you have the whole chain here. That's kind of neat. Government administration. Why do you just give government administration building throughput? We're gonna see some wild stuff. Try Vicky 3 TNO remade. We will Here, why don't I write some of these down, and then when we'll take a look at some of the mods for a little bit later. So, Basilia. Probably on stream. Hail Columbia mod for the new USA run? Yes. So I think we're going to do Hail Columbia and this mod. Because and so we're looking through the US companies first, because this is what we're going to have access to. We have DuPont. DuPont's a big company. Minus milligoods cost is pretty good, and explosives plus synthetics isn't too terrible. It's probably not usable, especially because some of these companies seem like they'll be really overtuned. Plus convoys, industrialist approval, international paper. It's just paper. It's probably not good enough. Okay, we got water. Clear Mountain Spring Water Company. Oh, water jug's a little low. Depending on how long we go, we might have a bit of a problem there. Ball Corporation, that doesn't look very good. Coors Brewing Company. Plus assimilation. I love that. I love anything that's associated with the alcohol and the drugs, because like the modifiers they give are just like plus assimilation. That's Coors Light, because Bud Light don't pay me nothing. Alright, so we have Reading Glove and Mitten Manufacturing Company. Loyalist, Yeoman approval. Okay, fair enough. Migration Attraction. Tech Spread for Production. Minnesota Mining Company. Overall, these don't seem too terribly good, to be honest. I was expecting a lot more overtuned ones. The John Deere one, I think, is probably the best we've seen so far. This furniture manufacturing, obviously when you stack this and you get something that gives a modifier and then even more of it, it's really strong, but Hasbro, what do you mean plus loyalists? We don't like Hasbro around here. Or I like Magic the Gathering. I don't like the way Hasbro conducts themselves as a business, as a corporation. Gives me the feels bads. Cold War mod. The Cold War mod's not updated for 1.6. So I don't know. If it gets updated for 1.6, then yeah. You played Hail Columbia a tiny bit, but the Reconstruction event spam was worse than vanilla somehow. Oof, very interesting to see you play it. Any plans to stick to the Americas for the expansion? Stick only to Americas? Well, my understanding was it was only USA flavor. If it's got flavor other than USA, we haven't taken a closer look at the Hail Columbia mod, then we'll probably play something other than USA. Can't wait for the Tuitong to run, based. Going to find the same states every game is a bit disinteresting. I find going for the same states every game a bit disinteresting. Yeah, but I mean, like, we go for South America every game, too. I don't know. And once again, asking for an Ottoman flavor mod. Is there one out there? Does it have Lockheed in there? We'll see. They have several companies that I don't think were founded in the time period that, like, don't make sense. Dow Chemical Company. This actually seems pretty solid. 15% agriculture throughput. Now, agriculture, my understanding, applies to just grain farms and that's it, rather than plantations. But that's pretty strong. I don't know if it's usable, but that's one of the stronger ones we've seen. I saw a lot of companies that have extra max weekly construction progress here, and so this is an example of one of them. Urban center building throughput seems insane, because you can't get throughput on that normally. That seems like a really strong modifier. I don't know if this is enough for this company to be usable. And then we have all the generic companies coming in here. So let's... But then, I think if we do potential companies, we'll get to see a bunch as well. I don't think this is vanilla. This looks pretty strong. What does this require? Rio Grande. Iron mine building throughput, railway throughput, and it's also giving you coal mines. Dow Chemical should add mortality. No, Canada. Add mortality to EIC. The Balkan plagues playing in the region much more fun. Yeah, we're currently trying to play a lot of mods because we're kind of in a bit of a lull before Sphere of Influence. So if anyone has a mod, I think we're going to check out mods towards later on in the stream. So, but I was going to look through some companies, and I figured you guys might find this interesting as well. Maximum infrastructure from Pop, tooling workshops. Is this vanilla? I think this is vanilla anyways. Hudson Bay Company. You know what? I think these are all vanilla. This I don't think is vanilla. Okay. Cotton plantations, rubber plantations, throughput, and textiles. That's... I mean, the balancing on this seems fairly good. I haven't seen any company where I'm like, wow, that seems nuts. This seems like reasonable as well. Construction sector building throughput is kind of strong, but throughput, very importantly, is not anywhere near as good as construction efficiency. Maize farms building throughput is weird. It's just maize, not grain. It's quite hard for you to keep generic ammunitions company prosperous for long. Yeah, it's because the way prosperity is calculated is really freaking stupid, because it's compared against all industries, not just those industries. So when you're doing anything that's like generally a little bit less productive, it has to compete with like sulfur mines and like steel and like this type of stuff. You can stack 3 companies for the same resource with this mod. Probably wouldn't be that effective, since the third company would be like 25% effective. It's not like there's an algorithm. It's not like exactly 50%, but like a paradox is out to be like 50%, but it's not quite that. All these mods, but no mod to make you be able to take land Alaska. Yeah, we just swap sides. Cold War patch coming in early July because of spheres. Cold War project? Yeah, so they've just said, you know, we're going to kick it down the road. That's fair. Maximum infra from Pop is like decent, but like there's a really good company that gives 5% construction efficiency down here in Lima. The assimilation's such a wild modifier to put on a company. Extra steel throughput though. Assimilations and loyalists. You know who we're going to swap to and take a look at is we're going to swap to the UK, because the UK has a ton of interests everywhere. And so that should give us a pretty good look at everyone's thing. Maximum infra from population and 10% migration. This is really strong. This is probably the strongest company we've seen so far. And it's for Canada. So that's Quebec. Oh, Canada. So that seems really good. Right? 10% migration attractions. I mean, it's hard to rate, but like plus 15 infra from population is very often just going to give you flat 15 infra, and then maybe it's not the best we've seen. It seems pretty good. This company doesn't seem very good right here. Trade unions pop attraction on a company. This is an interesting company, the Far Alpaca Company. Trade union pop attraction, minus radicals, minus supply consumption. So minus supply consumption is actually a really strong modifier. And I think most people don't realize how strong it is, especially in the late game. This is a free money modifier. It's more than it's just giving you money. It's that the money's not taken from someone else. Here we see convoys and urban center building throughput. Again, urban center building throughput also seems like a really strong one. Only OGs remember the days of victory. Big tech company Monster Inc. We love to see it. Can you reach out to Paradox and tell them assimilation is garbage in this game? It makes no sense. Converting people you accept as useless, I don't understand. I mean, I agree that it's useless, but I'm not gonna reach out and then be rude. I would definitely not use the phraseology garbage. And there's a ton of things in the game I would want them to change first. And I'm already spending my this isn't instead of garbage, this is not how I would quite do it. I've already been spending those tokens on things I think are probably more important than the assimilation. But I agree, assimilation is garbage. I want the chainsaws PM to make sense though. First, make it make sense. If this mod separates engine factory and cars, tanks, planes, then maybe stuff like Ford or Volkswagen is available. I don't think they separated it. I think that this mod was trying to be mainly self-contained. But you are the general of us plebs. Only some of the plebs. There's other people making stuff for the game. Birth rate. This one's just like the regular company, but it also gives petite bourgeoisie approval. Strictly better. Radicals, loyalists. Yeah, a lot of companies that I don't know if I'd use. This seems interesting. Bacardi. I love that all the alcohol ones give like the funniest modifiers to me. That's a thing. What is that? Minotti? Getting naughty with Minotti. Alright, so it looks like we're in Cuba. A bunch of Cuban companies here. Okay. But 40% sugar plantations throughput. So you'd have a total of 60% throughput on sugar before you count economies of scale or other bonuses. That's a vibe, dude. That would really allow you to emphasize sugar. I mean, I guess the one thing that they said about in the description of this mod was that they were trying to make middling powers a lot stronger through companies. So expecting stuff like Cuba, USA to get kind of meh companies, which is kind of what we saw, and then stuff like Cuba to get really strong companies. Mexican Railway Company seems decent. Plus birth rate and minus radicals, and you get the corn and that. Okay, so this is the first company that is actually... This company is insane. The Penoles company. Giving you minting. I think the generic gold company only gives you 5% minting, so it's already better than that if it's just this and 5% minting, but it also gives you 15% migration attraction. And lead mines. Penoles. That is the strongest company we've seen so far. Is the Great Rework dropped? Last update I saw was 4 weeks ago or longer. Yeah, I don't think Great Rework... It's a compilation of a whole bunch of mods. I don't think it's updated. What's the record of the fastest multiculturalism? I don't know. It would probably be on an earlier patch when... Well, I mean, the fastest multicultural... You used to be able to pass it on day one with the Intelligentsia. EU5 gets good economy, which I feel like it will because they learned from Vic 3. I will literally stop playing Vic 3 and play EU5. I already have 2,500 hours in EU4 since I was 13. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, whatever floats your boat. Are you asking if I will stop playing Vic 3? I mean, so by the sounds of it, looking at the dev diary, it sounds like they're taking all the stuff I really like about Vic 3, and they're putting it in that game, and then they're kind of leaving on the table the stuff I don't care as much about. So, maybe. But at the same time, from this metagame perspective of making content, I don't think I would be... There's a ton of EU4 guys who will swap over to EU5, and I will not be able to... I will, like, be swimming with a bunch of sharks in the EU5 tank. So I very much doubt I could, kind of swim over there the same way I'm swimming over here in Vic 3, but maybe. Which is to say, even if I like EU5 more or something like this, I'd probably still play Vic 3 more. But also that's like... It's one thing to say you're going to have a bunch of changes that are good, and it's another thing to actually do it. Johan saying that there's going to be more content on release for EU5 than there is on EU4 now is just super wild to me, and so it seems like it's possible that he's being serious and that's going to be the case, but that like actually just like breaks a lot of trust in my opinion for me regarding him as a communicator, because I think that there's no way that there's more content for EU5 now than there is for Vic 3 or sorry, not there's more content for EU5 on release than there is for EU4 now. And so when someone, like, overpromises on a bunch of stuff and then underdelivers, it's like... Also, like, The way that the system of Vic 3 works economically is just very aesthetic. I love seeing migration attraction on a lot of these things. A lot of these companies also just don't seem overpowered, which I'm super excited about. This is the only company we've seen so far that just seems like disgustingly overpowered, and we've gone through like 50 or 60 or something like this, probably more. American smelting and mining companies, so this looks pretty good. 5% migration attraction, lead mine throughput. Yeah, this is a slam dunk, really good company. Is it better than... It's probably not better than Carnegie Steel. It's close. Especially because there aren't a lot of good companies that have lead in them. It's like a really hard thing to find good companies for. You could establish a monopoly on Millennia. Are like Jumbo Pixel and Potato McWhiskey not doing that? Please respond, Ronald, if you're actually in the Millennia streets. My understanding is Millennia was not super open. 1863 is your record. Not sure about others. For multiculturalism, yeah, you definitely have to qualify it for like multiculturalism post 1.4, I think, is when they locked it behind some of the later stuff and made it so radicals can't get it. You're reining in your expectation for U5 because Johan's statements seem a little too big. Yeah. I don't trust him as a communicator. Not on any basis that he's, like, lied, as far as I can tell, although, like, I have a small sample, but just, like, it just seems really unlikely. This company seems super interesting. The Walt Disney Company. Migration attraction influence, 25% influence and loyalists from standard of living increases. The problem is you'd never be able to get this prosperous, so the company's just basically trash. I get what you mean. I get shivers when I watch Hokkaido get 10k migrants every month. Dopamine. Jumbo uploads like once a month. Potato's dead on his content. Dead entirely or dead on Millennia? Hey, Spuddies. Potato McWhiskey here. Morale recovery. I've never seen this on a company. Fascinating. Oh, this is really good. 15% railway throughput alongside tooling workshop. It's not like BIS or anything, but I wish we could look at a list of all the companies. Unfortunately, we can't. That sucks. Potatoes like stopped uploading entirely. Okay, so we're gonna have a ton of companies to look through because we have a ton of interest in a lot of places. So we're gonna take a look at our attainable companies and then what else we can do. So JP Coates, Bachlau. All right, so Wedgwood I think is our first company that is not in vanilla. That's interesting. Just straight up +6 approval. Probably not worth using. Super fascinating looking through these. Migration and power plants building throughput. Interesting. Migration and birth rate. So this is just strictly better than vanilla thing, but that's kind of okay, we think. Potato is still sieving? Okay. Okay. You had me worried. Annex the whole world with debug. We don't have debug on. I guess this would be the way to do it though, huh? I think we... yeah, there are a ton that are culture-based, though. Just form Turtle Island and debug and just annex everyone with every culture. Is this the solution? We'll take a look. We'll take requests for which countries to look at after this. But Great Britain will give us insight into a ton of them. Super. I love, like, just trying to think through and parse through, like, which companies are best. I think it's really interesting because there's, like, moving parts that are, like, difficult to evaluate, especially when they put in stuff like colony growth in non-homeland states. That company looks like trash, though. Rye farms specific are interesting. Rye's, like, a really good grain. It's probably not worth using, but... Quartalds. Tech spread stuff, There's a lead in there. That's actually not too bad a company. Vesuvius Crucible Company. It's the 1 month millennia anniversary of Millennia. Maybe we play Millennia after this. It's only possible that early pre 1.2, before the all the politics rework. After legitimacy and tech rework, you're likely to get a pre 1900. Well, you can very consistently like roll a general. So we'll scroll through this section. Well, I have a video on how to pass multiculturalism easy on the YouTube, if you wanted to check that out. But you can do it really consistently. Did I see the roadmap? Yeah, but I didn't read it. The roadmap for Millennium. I'm like, so like, to make Millennium make sense for the channel, it's like a lot of upfront investment in terms of time and effort, and I like super don't know if it's worth it. I guess we could just play more and find out, but I was enjoying playing Millennia a lot, and maybe that's the thing to do, kind of with Vic 3 in a little bit of a weird spot right now, because, the amount of people playing when they announced that they would delay it, like, it dropped by, like, 30%, so feels pretty bad, to be honest. But yeah, we do have, I do have a video on how to pass multiculturalism really easy. It's super consistent. Like, once you research the, you can do it, you can start passing it within a week of researching feminism, by just aggressively re-rolling generals and admirals until you get what you need. And then you exile. So if you have exactly one positive popularity person, like let's say we have Industrialists, if you have exactly one positive popularity, or let's say rural folk, a guy who is a general or an admiral, and then you exile the leader, what will end up happening is the person who will take over will be that general or admiral, and in this way you can force it to be someone that would allow you to pass multiculturalism. Suez Canal. Antofagasta company is one of the best, but these are vanilla. I do like a whole lot that all the vanilla companies are on here first. That is big nice. Kaiping Mining Company also really strong. In vanilla, but really strong. Empresas Electrices Asociadas, very strong as well with the state construction efficiency. Also, you generally don't get really high level power plants, so the throughput on power plants is pretty useful. Also, by the time you slot this in, you don't have power plants in place, and you actually end up spending a lot of construction on power plants, because you have 0 to begin with, so pretty strong. This, I think, is one of the strongest companies in the game. Society Aname, John Cockerell. Really, really strong. This is the best company in the game. Ericsson, but we don't slot it in because that company is just like, the decimal spot should be over 1. Like, giving 10 levels of wealth institution is just insane. Will you try out Manor Lords? Probably not. That game isn't super appealing to me, to be honest. And then on top of that, I think that the content creators making stuff for Manor Lords is just super saturated. I don't think it makes sense for me to try and do. So that might be the last vanilla company. I don't think I recognize this company with morale loss and morale recovery. It's in Burgundy. So I think that's our first one from the mod, maybe? Not 100% sure. I don't remember there being assimilation, but this looks familiar, so... Heavy tanks offense. So I don't think I've seen that. Well, I feel like I haven't seen that modifier, but then I know that I've seen this company. And I know I've seen Krupp, Fiat. Mitsue 100% is vanilla, so I guess we're still scrolling. Okay, USA is kind of at the bottom of... Okay. This might be the first one. Navy Defense. Australian Gaslight Company's definitely not in there, so. I hate that they made power plants local, same. Millennia's lost 90% of its players sitting under 1k, very risky. Yeah, but they have a really small team, right? So not too big a deal. But yeah, that's another thing is like, even if a ton of Millennia players watch me play, which I'm not like as good at 4X games, like the player base is also super small. But yeah, the Vicky 3 dropping from like 10k weekly players to 7k in the last week, I definitely can feel it. So the C you saw in VTM too? Yeah. Transport and electricity. Yeah, I don't like local goods. I think local goods is a good simulation, but unfun. And is an example of something that, even though it's a good simulation, you shouldn't have it. This company seems nuts. Australian Gaslight Company. Holy schnapples. Urban Center building throughput's really good because it doesn't have any throughput to begin with, and you're getting 15% here. And you're... Okay, can you get the prosperity bonus, though? Can be a little bit rough to get it with power plants, but I think with the coal mines assisting, could probably get it. Guns limited. Logging set... What is this, dude? Logging camps building throughput. Is this the best rubber company we've seen? So there's a Belgium company that gives you a negative modifier, but it also has iron. But if you already have iron, Guns Limited is probably better. I need to change the... I'm kind of sweaty and icky, which is why I'm moving around about. I haven't showered after working out. That's why I'm so fussy right now. Whoa! New South Wales, that company's nuts. What is this about? What is this about? Broken Hill Property Company. Stock company in your Austria run, which give extra siege RD offense in the same vein as heavy tanks, so I guess it's a mod thing. Isn't there a vanilla company for rubber and wood that gives mortality and also throughput? Yeah, there's a better one that's locked for Belgium. Specifically. That's even better. Oh, this is so good. This company's so good. I would just annex New South Wales, I think. Well, okay, actually this isn't good until late game, but this is after late game is just insane. Seven Prestige, Glassworks. Here we see another one of these companies. So these companies are just nuts. So the ones that have gold, the gold plus companies are just so good. Consolidated Zinc. Region is Victoria. So a lot of really good Australian ones. And you know what? If something's culture locked, I think Australians are English. So if any of these are culture locked, Great Britain has access to them. But that company is nuts too. 8% minting I think is better than vanilla. And stacking a whole bunch of throughput on gold is like probably not terrible. Belgium and Turtle Island? Yeah, basically. Basically. Everyone in Turtle Island. Interesting company here with the wood and the steel. Also interesting with the triple approval from the New Zealand Herald. Construction sector throughput. This isn't terrible. North Island. This, I think, is the strongest company we've seen, actually. A railway and gold company that gives minting. And iron to boot. Flanders. This company is wild. Throughput on gold is busted. Yeah. Throughput on gold is super busted. Like, people are like, oh, it's only 5% minting. And it's like, it gives you throughput on all this stuff. Wood gives convoys, but it also seems nice. Convoys is hard to evaluate. Sometimes I feel like the convoys is really good and sometimes I don't. I just don't have a confident handle on how good I think it is. Max infrastructure, assimilation, steel mills throughput. I think we've seen that one already. I think we're starting to see ones we've seen before. Yeah, so Rio de Janeiro, we're scrolling through regions we've seen while looking through the USA. Labatt Brewing Company we've seen this with the migration attraction, which was very interesting. Nicaragua. Who should we check out next? Because there's a lot of culture specific ones. Is there any special requests? I suppose we could pull up the mod description. Tooling workshops, building throughput. Super nice. Where's this Chongqing? But yeah, the railway plus gold with minting is just probably the best. Li Yunfeng Limited. Loyalists. This is pretty solid. It's super tough to evaluate when you have some that are just flagrantly disgustingly strong. Tech spread, maximum innovation investment. Maximum innovation investment. This is our first time seeing this modifier. This is pretty strong. Because what eventually gates you in terms of your speed is this cap. And this increases that cap, it looks like. Generic, it's only unique companies only. China, we can take a look at China. I think China has a ton. Your first is a wood if every company. Yeah, going wood and then just spamming the shit out of them and exporting wood is just like a generally pretty strong strategy. Not a fan of tooling workshops throughput. You always make too much of it and it's an excess by the time you get rubber. I really like it because tend to have a lot of tooling places, but maximum innovation investment. Again, we see that modifier. The paper company just kind of blows though. Interesting that we have like two competing companies. So we're seeing some of these that I think are going to be China. We see the propaganda paper company. I think this is neat. Like, obviously, there's probably just one best in slot, and you just use that one. Actually, you probably just never use the paper company, but that all these look like they're competing with each other is kind of cool. I would be more critical of I would be critical of this, I think, if this was in vanilla, but it's cool from a modder's perspective. And they're looking for, like, some sort of completion thing. If generic, then gold, but your first one is always iron lead. You also prefer mill buffs and prosperity. Yeah, I generally don't go for mill buffs. 3% birth rate. Interesting. Minus 1% mortality from wealth. I have a hard time, or 0.1%, understanding, like, how strong is minus 1 to 2% mortality? Because this is kind of what it comes down to. Like, in terms of pop growth. Migration attraction, radicals from standard living decreases. There's the OP Sugar Company. Morale recovery, another weird one. We'll take a look at China next, though. You wish the max company count was doubled or tripled? I actually don't have a problem with this. I think I would want there to be more companies if they did that, though. Birth rate and agriculture throughput. Munke Mole. Talking about really popping off. Zealand. Minus radicals from standard living decreases. This seems pretty strong. Calcutta tramways. South Bengal. I think that's probably usable. Minus mortality per wealth. Yeah, but these like gold plus companies, like the generic gold company is already really strong. Now this one I don't know how to evaluate. What does giving throughput on trade centers do exactly? Extra port max level. Fascinating. This is pretty strong for a military company. 8% offense and 5% defense. And you still get the explosives. The explosives being a pretty solid one. Isn't mortality reduction important for laborers and such, thus having them for lower level better for reducing rate of some of the capitalists? Well, so if you reduce mortality, like increasing birth rate or reducing mortality is a lot more effective than it looks because you're doing your birth rate minus your mortality. And so the effect of it is almost like you can kind of think of it as being just significantly larger than it looks. Class goated mod by UU member. We stay winning. Big nice. If you haven't tried Morgan Road, they have very nice flavor and arts. Morgan Road was the one that looked most exciting to me, but it's not currently polling the best on Patreon. So tomorrow we're gonna start a run as USA using the USA flavor mod because that's what's winning on the Patreon. The wealth voters have spoken. Max weekly construction progress. This company seems interesting. Strong. Not too many strong companies where the food industry is involved. Land trade capacity and railway building. Ooh, this company seems sweet too. We're going to get the throughput on the ports. I wish there was more companies that had ports as one of their industries. I understand that they can't give you prosperity or productivity or whatever, but I think it's cool that you can get the throughput on them. It's multiplicatively effective with convoys, though, so maybe that's OP. Fishing wharves building throughput. Fishing wharves throughput is really nice. Because generally they can't get to very high levels, so you're not going to get a lot of throughput from economies of scale, and the less throughput you have, the more valuable it is. It's a little bit less nice, though, because you can only expand fishing so much. The USA mod is awesome. They added overexpansion to Millennia. I don't feel too good. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. They also let you destroy stuff, subject stuff. This company seems interesting. Oh, there's so much going on here. Pugat. This company seems super strong. I think that this urban center building throughput's a really strong modifier. So far, Australia's had some absolutely nutter companies, though, overall. We can swap to Australia and take a quick look. Because we can see all of those right now, but... Construction sector throughput and max progress. These are not anywhere near as good as efficiency, but that company seems interesting still. It's probably not playable, but 10% conversion and extra loyalist standard living increases and accepted religion. That's an interesting pair that we have there. Does anyone know what trade center building throughput does? I don't even know what it does. I guess we could take a look at a trade center in just a second. We're still going to scroll through all of these. Army defense on our railway company is probably solid. Yeah, I've never stopped to consider what throughput does on the thing. Urban center building throughput on tools in this, that seems decent. Pollution effects reduction, really strong. This company looks really good too. Where is it at? Anhalt? Alright, fair. Power plants throughput. University building throughput. That's pretty strong. Saxony. Okay, I guess we're gonna have some interesting looking German ones. Can we get a little bit more hype? Hugo Steins. This is really strong too. Ruhr. This is really strong looking. Yeah, I mean, I just say I see something as being strong, and then I see like a gold company pop up, and the gold company is just insane. Japanese companies in this are crazy. We'll have to take a look. Also, hello, father. Please call me by my proper name. Father's my dad. You can call me daddy. Maybe it gives more profit on the trade route, or maybe less convoy usage per trade good. Interesting. That makes sense. Trade center services, isn't it? They don't give services. A war machine building, so this mod does separate tanks planes production from the normal engine factory. Wait, what? Tanks and planes have always been in war machine. You're playing a mod that has them not in war machine. You've forgotten vanilla. This is a ton of throughput for the iron and the lead, and then you just randomly are going to spike some gold mines. That seems really strong. This is Brunswick. Radicals and loyalists, modifiers for accepted religions here. That's maybe a modifier that they don't want to give out. I hope, oh god, it'd be so cool if they added like 500 companies like this in vanilla. There'd obviously be some with problems, but plus 10% infrastructure, mortar industries building throughput. This is pretty solid. Government administration building throughput. What do we think of that? Alfred Nobel Company seems good. We'll have to check it out. I'm assuming... I assume it has explosives. Man's invaded dynamite. There's also some award thing that he did, but most importantly, Nobel is known for inventing dynamite. Some silly prize thing. Trade center building throughput. We've seen it on a lot of things. Looks like we have some Japanese companies. Someone was saying they were OP. We still aren't going to get the culture locked ones, though. Tech spread for production. Power plant throughput. Wealth education access 0.5%. Wow, this is like a fixed company. This is still probably worth using. But this seems balanced. I like this. I can get behind it. The best company in the game is in Svealand, and it gives you 5% wealth education access, which is the equivalent of 10 levels of the institution. This gives one level of the institution, which to me seems reasonable. 10 does not. Korean Tungsten Company seems pretty strong. This seems good too. Doosan. Korea's probably got some banger companies that we can't see because they're going to be culture locked. Minus mortality per wealth. Government throughput, birth rate. They said that they put some of the more tuned companies on smaller countries, so we'll have to take a look at some of that. Maximum innovation investment is pretty good. Mortality per wealth. This might be the best, like, fertilizer plant company we've seen. Just fertilizer solo. I wish on a lot of these they had the dyes with them. I think that'd be more appropriate for, like, the chemical thing. I think that they should have never split the fertilizer and the explosives. I think it should just be one building. They should just give more PMs. 10% minting on this. Interesting. Birth rate. Colony growth speed. Power plant throughput. 25, that's a lot of migration attraction. It's probably pretty hard to get the productivity bonus on this, though. Government is also quite nice since both bureaucracy and tax capacity, I think. Yeah. It definitely is. Throughput's good on them, generally, because wages are a big portion of the expenses rather than the goods. So throughput's really strong on it. You know, created the mod and he has a crazy beef with one guy at Paradox. During the open beta, he's told we won't change this, and it in fact was changed 3 times, breaking the mod each time. Interesting. He's made enemies. I see. Korean flavor also seems fun. Keep seeing the peasants revolt. Also, biggest improvement of Korea flavor mod from James is that it gives the head of government and head of state different characters. That is interesting. Head of government and head of state. Like, one's the diplomatic representative. 15% railway throughput. That seems pretty strong. Not as strong as Standard Oil. Explosives factories. Dino Nobel. Is this the Nobel company? They they just, it's 100% boom boom, nothing in reference to the Nobel Prize. Perfection. Supply consumption's a really good modifier. We haven't seen it on too much stuff. Oh, this company's nuts. Where is this? Norway? Might be time to play Norway, bros. This is an insane looking company. So iron, like there's several industries that are really, really strong. Iron, tools, railways, and gold are probably the strongest things to have companies for. And any company that gives you 2 of those is going to be generally really good. But what's difficult with all the mines is finding good mixed coverage. Because a lot of mine companies will pair with each other, and so if we have iron and sulfur, we would not... That would make a sulfur and coal company less valuable. But 10% infra is, like, strong. Good to know the Norway one. Minting and migration attraction. 15% minting is quite a bit. Multiplicatively effective with the gold. You saw Alfred Nobel Company earlier when you scroll, so there's 2 Nobel companies. This is the second Nobel one. Just maximize boom booms, I guess. We're doing one thing and it's going boom. Urban Center building throughput, this looks really strong too. I think we've seen this one before, but... We've definitely seen this one before. I recognize the icon. Yeah, we're in a region that we've covered before now. This one looks interesting. Not sure if it's playable. This looks nuts. So again, tools combined with railways. Wood is another one that's really good. This company is really strong. Where is it? Northern Serbia. This company is really strong. What? 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 I mean, being able to build them faster is really not that useful, but it's going to be... all your construction sectors are going to get 35% throughput. I mean, the thing that's expensive on the construction sectors... I think I did the math, and like 10% throughput on a construction sector only saves you like 3% on price or something like this, because most of the expense is not in the wage. It's in the goods, and you're increasing the goods and you're increasing the construction. However, it does allow you to have more of your construction in better mappy states. And it also applies to your construction efficiency, right? So one of the outputs is this construction efficiency. So if you get a bunch of throughput on the construction efficiency, as we would be getting here, because we'd be getting 35% construction sector building throughput, so this would be like 0.535 or whatever, state construction efficiency per level. This would be kind of an interesting company. I don't know if I think it's really good. Cape Colony. Migration attraction on the gold mines. Probably better than minting. So probably better than vanilla, but it's probably close. This is just better. Caracoles in Antofagasta. Antofagasta already has like a really good company. But we've seen some of these just... Wait, 20% mines throughput. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes, everyone. Everyone. Your brakes, pump them. Oil companies are also pretty OP. Oil companies are pretty good, but they're not good until like later. Having to actually pick and choose which companies you want is nice instead of just going for the very few really good vanilla ones. Yeah, I get excited by trying to think of like how we're gonna slot in every company, this type of stuff. Siam Cement doesn't look that good. Any Romanian companies? We could take a look at Romanian companies. The construction sector in a company is a meme quality. I kind of like it. This seems... Well, pollution effects reduction. Oh, this is a good modifier, right? I know it's red, but it says reduction. It says plus 10%. Valencia. Yeah, this is insane. 20% mines throughput. All the mines. That includes gold mines. Gold mine throughput. This company's nuts. Tinto Rio. Is this probably the strongest company we've seen? Rio Tinto. So just conquer Valencia every game. Yeah, this is nuts. Unless this doesn't apply to gold, but like, there's no reason to expect it not to. I guess we'll swap to Spain and take a closer look. Construction sector building throughput. Rail building throughput. AB Atlas looking pretty good too here. In Svealand. Whoa. So which 20% mines company we think is better? Iron and coal. Or lead and gold. Probably iron and coal, to be honest. In Svealand. We didn't juice up Sweden enough. They already had the best company in the game. We had to do a little bit better, though. Why would you have this in Sweden where there's no gold? That's so strong. They did say that they were trying to create some multiplayer level balance by powering up medium and small sized countries through companies. But I assume they would culture lock them. It doesn't look like they've done that. Government industry building throughput, pretty nice. Military goods cost, really strong modifier. Haven't seen it on any company that looks really good though. Dow Chemical. Big nice. Bechel. That's so Bechel. It's so fetch. Vietnam Railways. Hello, Vietnam. Alright. So we wanted to take a quick look at Qing, which should be a little bit faster. Tinto Tox, the Portuguese exclusive edition. Tinto Rio just, yeah, that looked insane. Isn't like public health gives a minus pollution effects, so this company would reduce it to 9%. Oh yeah, maybe it makes it worse. If it makes it worse, then yeah. I think the other one didn't have that negative modifier though. Let's check the companies here. So we're expecting to see a few more. Whoa. So Kaiping Mining. Was this in here? The automobile one? I can't remember. Private construction allocation. So this was not... I think that this is culture locked. I don't remember the private allocation on this. I don't remember seeing this company. I remember seeing this. Coal mines throughput and... Well, did we see this one before? Railway throughput. Pretty solid. Kind of competes with the Kaiping Mining Company, so it's probably not very good. Or you probably use the Kaiping Mining Company. Interesting to see convoys are minting here. Minting just really good for Qing because they start out with so much GDP, so they're getting so much minting. Look at this. We're getting 120k of our income from minting. We can't tax people, but we can mint, so pretty strong on them. We see the huge variety of paper companies. I think someone asked about Romania, so let's take a look at Wallachia. And then this is generic gold. Or let's look at ones we can't slot in. Non potential companies. Yeah, this is going to be in other areas that aren't us, I think. Oh, we also meant to look at just the output of some of these buildings to think it through what the throughput would give. So the output is migration attraction. Okay, so if you get throughput on the trade center, 20% throughput, that's going to be 20% more migration attraction, and it's just trade revenue will just be increased, I think. Wow, so then throughput on this is real good then. Interesting. Let's take a look at Romania. Lead usage doesn't get high to late game when you start using radio telephones. Yeah. I swear implementing a search function or better filter for company will do wonders. I hate scrolling. Dude, me too. But you don't look through the interface of companies very often, so like it's not I would not want them to like really focus on anything like this. Feel the same time every time I scroll through the companies list. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I agree it's terrible, but I also don't think it's that big a deal that it's terrible. Okay, so we're getting this company. And I'm not sure if that's new. Looks pretty strong, though. I feel like it isn't new. I think this is new. Land trade capacity. I think that's a pretty strong modifier, but 5% mines throughput on... This is maybe the wildest company we've seen. Kind of food plus coal, and then gives mines. Southern Transylvania, that's probably pretty strong. We don't see anything requiring that culture, but I don't think we saw that before. We're probably going to take a look at some places where the UK does not have an interest. When do you think the company rework will come? 2 years from now? I don't really know. They keep on reworking like stuff I think they shouldn't be working on, which is like they keep on working on economic stuff when I think that like the thing that's preventing the game from acquiring new players is like other stuff. Like the diplomatic play is really frustrating. Diplomatic play is awful. They're not touching it in this upcoming patch. They are touching diplomacy in a really substantive way, so I perhaps don't want to knock them too much, but plus innovation, 15% innovation. That seems pretty hot. So I think we didn't see this before. So I think this is going to be, this is culture locked here for España. And then this is the one where this is plus pollution effects reduction. So let's take a look at the wording of hospitals. So this is minus, okay, so it just gives you more pollution. Okay, so maybe that company isn't super OP. I would have to take a look at what the pollution effects does. I think there was another mine company that gave mines throughput, though. 20% mines throughput. That just seemed like ridiculous. I know Romania has their own oil company, Vanilla. Yeah, it seems pretty solid. It's hard to... The thing is like, I can't, like, play super late games, so, like... if a company requires you being in late game to be good, I have like a low sample on it. Unfortunately, these are generic ones. Those are all generic. Wee woo, this company's obscene, but it's vanilla. Shout out to the wee woos outside. Pour one out to the homie who hopefully makes it. We'll see. Or we won't, but... Birth rate. I think this is kind of all we've seen before. Fishing wharfs throughput. This company looks super strong and super wonky. But I think these are going to be companies we've seen before. So let's maybe swap back to the UK and see where they don't have an interest. And then do it that way. 15 innovation is busted, especially on textiles, which is too easy to export. I don't think it's super busted. I think it's strong. I think that there's going to be a phase in the game where it's really busted, and then it's going to be pretty weak after that. And the reason for that is the cost of innovation is scales linearly, and the benefits of innovation scale exponentially. And so once they start scaling exponentially, you don't really care about a 15% bonus. Once they start really scaling up and you stop like purchasing extra innovation is trivial, but before you get to that point, but after you want to start investing in innovation, because you really don't want to invest in innovation before you have 100 to 150 construction. It's just not worth it. You'd rather build more construction. So between maybe 150 and 1200 construction, around that range, that modifier will be really good, but then I think it's not very good after that. I think they are working on modules they planned before release. Game is essentially an alpha, says Balterin on Twitch. They're still adding some economic features that Vicky 2 had. Yeah, I think that, like, for a new player, like, I think the Diplo play is obnoxious and off-putting. To be fair, they're making diplomacy more transparent in some ways, so... okay, so, we don't have an interest in Danubia, South Germany, Dnieper, Caucasus, Dixie, Mexico. But we saw all of this with the USA. So, let's maybe take a look at Ethiopia, Congo, and Niger. So let's swap to Harar and see if they get any companies. So we're going to do Harar, Congo, and Sokoto. Wee woo, says Min, basically. The issue with Romania is that it doesn't exist, so the companies require you to take Moldova and Transylvania. Oh. Okay. You just wish they would update their game? Yeah. Okay, anything unique here? No, this looks like vanilla companies. Is there 24 vanilla companies? I think this is it. So, doesn't look like there's any companies for Ethiopia, rip. Let's see if there's anything new for these guys. Diplo plays are what make me stop playing your campaigns. Yep. I've been saying it since release that the Diplo play is just like asinine, and like I think it really it's like a mechanic that sounds so good in theory, but in practice, like the execution is just like terrible. We're not seeing any new companies there, so maybe we'll see one in Sokoto. One company, John Holt PLC, Convoys and Radicals. Seems decent. Alright, so South Germany, and then we'll take another look back at the UK for all the companies we would have missed. But there was not an interest in South Germany, so let's kind of scroll through these. What stops me is the game crawls around 1900. Yeah, we had to stop the USA run in 1881. It felt so freaking bad. The only Congo company so far is Belgium. Feels bad, man. With 1/3 of the game still left. Yeah, I 100% am with you that that's kind of so this is one of the reasons why I think, like, bro, EU5 is starting to sound really good, because they're taking like some of the best features and the features that make Victoria 3 lag out, which is like the pops, tracking a whole bunch of different categorization things on pops. They're just not doing it. This company seems solid. Gans works. So we haven't seen this one before. Interesting. Skyscraper throughput. So it'll end up giving you trade, because you use trade nexus. So trade group competitiveness. And then university building throughput. Also strong, similar to 15% innovation, this modifier. But good luck ever making this prosperous with the Arts Academy. So, though it'll just never be prosperous, so it can't. It's like, yeah. And Dritz seems solid. I think we'll definitely check Japan's companies, but now we're kind of reaching the end. Land trade, army defense, army offense, mill goods cost offense. This seems pretty strong. This isn't vanilla, is it? This is pretty good. For a tool company, this is really good. I don't think it's vanilla. Mines throughput. So we're starting to get back into stuff we've seen before with the mines throughput there, so we'll just kind of cruise through. Yeah, the rest of these are generic. Let's take a look at these. Navy defense with just the mill shipyards. That'll never be profitable. Prestige. Franco Bulge. John Cockrell Company. We're just going to kind of cruise through because these are all in vanilla. And we want to get to the ones that are not in vanilla. New Russia Limited. This is not in vanilla. This company is insane. This is the Flanders company? Yeah. This company is so nutter. Is this better than... This isn't as good as the ones that just give 20% mining throughput, though, I guess. But it's close. Hey Gene, how's it going? Finally able to keep catch a live stream. Yeah, just a short little live stream. Feel the same way. Your hype from EU5 comes from it fixing whack implementation of ideas on Vic 3. Yeah, like, I don't care about tracking each of the pops individually, my guy. Like, which seems to be, like, what they drop, which, like, informs, like, the entire, like, you know, materialist, political, like, thing that Vic 3 does. But, like, honestly, like, I'm not even, like, married to the era. Like, I don't care about the era either, so, I just wanted something that was like a more complex econ simulator, so EU5 is just looking super attractive. But also, like, I think Johan's, like, over-promising. We do not trust, like, I think him saying that there's going to be more flavor for EU5, and I said this, like, a while back on the stream, but, like, we have new people, but I think that the way he's saying that there's going to be more flavor on release for EU5 than there is on EU4 now after, like, over a decade of, like, expansions and stuff, I think that's just wild as hell. Like, it paints the picture of the type of guy who's just, like the big thinker type guy, let's say, who's, like, maybe a little bit out of touch with what's actually going on. This company seems pretty good. And this is in Franconia? But I don't know too much about Johan either, so maybe I shouldn't talk. This is the impression I get from the Tinto talks. So Saxony. So we're starting to cruise through ones we've seen before. Again, this company looks pretty strong too. This company's urban center throughput also looks strong. This company looks really strong. It does seem like kind of balanced with multiplayer in mind, I think. Oh, you know what we might be able to do? We might be able to load up a save file where we already have interests everywhere. We're kind of almost done looking at it the way we're looking at it, which, like, feels kind of inefficient, but just a lot of scrolling, man. Maybe I shouldn't have even streamed this. This is kind of, maybe from your guys' perspective, this is Scrolling Simulator. This company looks really banging. Big nice on this one. Where's this at? Serbia again? Yeah, we've seen that one. So here's the one that gives mines throughput, which we think is an insane modifier. There's another one which gives 20% mines throughput, but that's just like... Okay, so we're going to switch back to the UK and see where we don't have interests, and then we'll maybe check a couple individual locations. How's the mod looking? The mod's looking super interesting. Super excited to be playing it tomorrow. We're going to take a... We're probably going to spin this up along with the like USA flavor mod that the Patreon was voting for, just to get kind of a bigger, more testing of stuff, I guess. Okay, so Dnieper, we checked Austria, which will have Danubia in this interest. So now I think the last one to check is Russia and the Himalayas. Let's just check the Himalayas really quick. I don't think there's going to be a Himalayas company, so we'll just do that. It's been fun to watch the EU4 YouTubers having meltdowns this week after the latest Tinto talks, realizing that EU5 you won't be able to just buy your way to the top by hoarding money. Or you won't just be able to like bankrupt and like do like weird crazy cheese. Yeah, well, good. Can you be more specific, Gene? You'll be able to buy your way to the top by hoarding money. I mean, you'll want to... I mean, I really have to see how dynamic prices works. This is gonna be the hinging thing on whether I think like EU4, like, because this is, to me, this is where it's at. This whole thing going on creates a whole bunch of equilibriums that make the game dynamic and add a lot of depth to the systems, right? So if prices are dynamic in a way in there that are similar to Vic 3, then I'll just be super elated. What I don't care about is this. I don't care about this, really, at the end of the day. This is the heart of the game, though, for Vic 3. This makes the whole thing work, and it is what makes, you know, the entire political system and clout and all that work. And that is, like, the payoff that you get from having everyone separated by every... See, the thing is though, here's how they seem to solve the situation in terms of performance. Now, performance is what crushes, you know, or is crushing Victoria 3. So here we have capitalist machinist laborers. It has to keep track of each of these entities, right? And not only these entities, but if there were... if the workforce is also split amongst different races and religions, which they're not, it would have to track that too. What it seems like, and then we have to track laborers here as well. What it seems like it's doing is it's only tracking like 4 pop types for the entire state in EU5. So instead of tracking these 3, and then these 4, for a total of 7. Instead, we're just tracking burghers, nobles, whatever, etc. We're also splitting them on culture, but it tracks it for the entire state, rather than, like, per building, which I think is a huge cause of, like, the lag. How do you hoard, but also buy? Basically, to do most things in EU4 just requires money. There isn't a need to worry about inputs or labor or anything like that. You just have money and you need what you need. And I know, like, the meta revolves around also intentionally bankrupting yourself, but we haven't, like... I haven't been in the EU4 streets for some time, and when I played, I wasn't that good, so... Hell yeah, Vicky time. A little bit of a chill stream where we're looking at this companies mod that adds a whole bunch of companies. That's why you stopped liking EU4 after some DLCs, just spamming buildings everywhere, spamming development everywhere, just a bunch of brain-dead clicking, always the same clicks for each province. I mean, to some extent, as you just get good at a game, it just becomes all the same thing. The real struggle is to create a game that is going to be simple to understand and pick up, but also allows for really deep thinking. Chess is a really good example of this. You can learn chess in an afternoon. You can try and get better at chess and have over 10,000 hours, and you can still get better. So chess is like a really good example of having an enormous amount of depth and being simple at the same time. This company's pretty good. Little Pop. I think this is a vanilla, but I think it's Poland. Yeah. All right, let's scroll down so we're not in the vanilla ones, because we kind of know. Okay, this isn't vanilla. New Russia Limited is the last one. Wood and tooling workshops would definitely use this. This is a super usable company. Land trade capacity and railway through. Like, these ones look so interesting, man. I'm super excited about this mod. This is, like, for example, this is giving an enormous amount of decision points, but I probably would not want this if I was like a newer player. I would not want... I'd be happy with the 130 companies that Vanilla has instead of the, like, 400 whatever this is adding. It just became too many stacking modifiers and stacking on others. Yeah, this seems to be what they've changed a lot from EU4. I didn't hate the modifier stacking, but, yeah. EU4 is basically glorified wargame. You can't expect much on other aspects. This is what attracted me to Victoria 3, is that it was supposed to be more economy. Because when I play EU4, I don't really declare that many wars or anything like that. But then the proper way to play Victoria 3 is like to always be at war, unfortunately. Which I would prefer if that were not the case. But, okay. State construction efficiency. We haven't seen this, because it's in the Caucasus, or it's in Lithuania. This is pretty nice. I don't know if I think it's better than the generic steel. I don't know if I think steel is a better industry than fertilizer. I think definitely as Russia, I'd be wanting to spam rye farms, so this maybe even gets used. Maximum infra from population, sector throughput. Throughput, again, is not anywhere near as good as efficiency on the construction sectors. It has the best diplomacy, EU4. Yeah, 100%. I wish they had just ported over EU4's diplomatic system. Like, just copy-pasted. I really hate the Diploplay. I think the Diploplay is awful. In Vic 3. I think the system where you have to decay someone below 0, and you can only do that if you have the war goal and nothing else matters, and you can defend an indefensible war as long as, like, you can keep them from capturing all the war goals, or you can, like, win an unwinnable war just by, like, grabbing it, or you can make it so that you can never have to surrender, even though, like, you would just get bodied. Huge not fan of the way it works in practice. I like the idea of, like, it feeling like a diplomatic play, feeling like maneuvering, but it doesn't feel like maneuvering. It just feels like a delay before the war starts that just has a bunch of obnoxious things. And then the resolution of... I hate that you have to put everything that you want in before you declare the war. I think that's super artificial and, like, doesn't, like, reflect how war works. War, you have, like, an escalation, and, like, you decide what you take, like, at the end of the war. Like... It's like, it does not even remotely comport with reality that you have to, like, put in all your war goals before the war. Wiki 3 does it way better already. You gotta check prices, check clouds, think about your decision. In EU4, you unlock markets, build 250 markets. Yeah, so I'm here for the eco on Wiki 3, but EU5, they're making it sound like it's going to be very, very interesting in regards to the econ. We're still in the generic ones because we just saw Mitsui, but I think Mitsui is the last one. So we're at Gans Works. I think we saw this one before. Again, we will have seen a lot of these ones before. Oh, this one's interesting. Government interest group approval and attraction of interest group in government, and it gets wood, and is this in Russia? It's Styria. I guess we've already taken a look at it then. when we looked at Austria. Supply consumption, again, is just a really strong modifier. We've seen this company so many times, and every time we see it, we're just like, that's illegal. This company is just like... I think we're kind of reaching the end here of looking at all the companies, though. Starting to see just a ton of repeats. Again, I wish you could just look at all of the companies. I hate that they made it so you're gated by your Diplo interests. Diplo plays were the biggest disappointment for me. I think that Diplo plays, like, make people play the game and then quit the game more than anything else. And I've wanted them to fix that more than, like, just a ton of the stuff they're doing. And then they, like, yeah, I think that they are overly focused on stuff that, like, is not good for expanding the player base. I think that a lot of the player base doesn't care about fixing Diplo plays as much as, like, it matters for, like, new players, though. What would be good is be able to add war goals as the war goes on, and you do better than expected, but also other powers can intervene if you add more goals. Yeah, that's another thing. Once a Diplo play starts, you can't, no one can join. That's also stupid. There's, like, there's so many things around the Diplo play that are just incredibly dumb. We should maybe make a video on it. Like, it's 100% my biggest complaint about the game now at this point. On release, I had 3 complaints about the game, and they've definitely fixed one. The first one was that the UI was awful, and that was my biggest complaint on release. They fixed that really quick. And then the second one was that military had some problems. That was, like, the third biggest complaint. And then the third one was the Diplo plays are crazy, and they're still crazy. They're still terrible. Although now there's going to be less psychosis with the AI, so they're partially fixing, like, one of my complaints with Diplo plays, which is that they were just, like... The biggest complaint I had about Diplo plays was that they were just, like, wildly opaque, and they're not wildly opaque now, because you get to see how people feel about them. So I guess to some extent they fixed it, because they just show you what the people are thinking. It's always fake news that AI has interest in Diplo plays. They're always interested in their own core provinces, scripted colonies, and random scripted slavery abolishments. Only game where GPs actually intervene with wars is EU4, sadly. They intervene in Vic 3, what do you mean? So if it's more return states, it's fine, but conquering more provinces gets more power involved. It's been said forever that the outcome of war should be negotiated at the end during the war rather than putting everything before it starts. Yeah. There's like 20 reasons why Diplo plays suck. Yeah, basically. Maybe make a video, but I don't like to be like fucking whinging and negative. I mean, I'm being whinging and negative right now, I guess. So this one gives pollution effects reduction. And is otherwise pretty strong. We just pair it with the one that gives 20% mines throughput. Just absolutely bananas. Some of these. Some of these are incredibly strong. Several of them are just very solid. Like, this looks very solid here. Urban Center building throughput, I don't know quite how to evaluate it. I think it's insane. Like, this company is insane, though. Not as good as the mines throughput that has, I think it was, lead and gold. That might be the best company we've seen in its entirety. But we're still cruising through. I think these are all ones we've seen before here. And I think we will have seen the entire world at this point. In terms of Diplo interest. We'll swap to Japan, though, because I think some of these might be culture... Well, we know some of them are culture locked. We just don't know which cultures we should be checking to look at all the companies. I guess there's more Easter eggs. There's 2 Nobel companies. Big nice. Big boom, you know what I mean? This company looks so good. Like... The Antofagasta, this is just strictly, like, better than the Antofagasta one, right? The Antofagasta one is, I think, 5% infra, and it's Sulfur Railroad, and it's one of the best companies in the game, and this is just Eastern Norway, plus we get some iron mines, plus some steel mills. Just absolutely bananas. The ANANAS. Diplo plays should not usually result in war. Right now, they are a weird way to start a war that really doesn't add anything. Yeah, you also can't start a war instantly, but like it just feels like a delay on starting a war. Even the diplomatic actions is annoying and unnecessary. If I want to take too much, the GPs will wreck me anyways, but other times I could, but I don't have enough actions. Yeah, that's another thing that just feels super artificial. But it's kind of similar to Infamy, but like the pricing of stuff in terms of maneuver is just like not even remotely like calibrated correctly. Like some stuff costs way too much, some stuff costs way too little maneuvers. Not having enough influence for actions is a resource management problem, which is a skill issue, not a game flaw. Interesting. I think he was talking about maneuvers, not influence. Maybe I read it wrong. And Diplo players can't determine all possible war goals that you can have. Yeah. Diplomatic actions are just a fixed number that you increase with tech. Are you guys talking about maneuvers or this? Influence. I really want more economy changes where the AI actually builds stuff it can use. Yeah, that's an AI problem though. But it's going to be much better when you can build in their country instead. 15%. Oh, what the fuck is this? Anglo-Persian company. This is so good. Persian oil company. You just 15%. Oh, I read mining, not minting. I mean, 15% minting and 10% migration attraction is still pretty strong. I read mining, though. I read 15% mining. I didn't question it. I should have questioned it. This company's also just bananas, man. I mean, we've seen this one several times, but I think... Oh, wait, Northern Serbia? Yeah, this is the Serbia one. This is the best company. Bolden AB in Svealand. Leave it to the Swedes to make a mod with the... I actually don't know if they're Swedish, but this company is probably the best. Is there a company anyone else saw that they thought was better than that? I don't think that there's one that's better. I mean, I'm not necessarily dying on a hill over it, but... I don't think I saw one that gave 10% construction efficiency. That would also be pretty good. But 20% mines throughput? Tarkus comes in after his bedtime. He says, bro, it's your bedtime. Tarkus, don't even give me that. You were up at 4 a.m. my time, which I think you're 2 hours later. You were like up when the sun was rising. I'm just at like 9 post-workout. All tired. One Swimby says, hey journalist, have you ever thought of trying to join one of the Boko and Vic 3 games? I would probably play if he invited me. But I don't know about trying to join. I would not aggressively message Boko and asking him to join his game. But maybe I'm just being antisocial. Me and Tarkus are gonna start a new group of streamers called the Antisocial Streamers. We're just gonna never play games together. Man, the mods are so Swedish biased. Yeah, Tarkus, by the way, we're looking at this mod, which adds a bunch of companies. We think this was the best one in the game, and by we, I mean me, and by me, I mean probably my chat agrees with me. Yo, Nestle with that birth rate, though. It do be like that, though. Where was Nestle? A lot of things give birth rate. Nestle. But 20% mining, so all the mines get 20% throughput. 20% mines throughput. Do you think you'll be able to fix the fact that... Did you raid me, Tarkus? I feel like the chat's going faster. No, you're on YouTube. What do you think they could do to fix the fact that the AI builds almost no construction? I don't know. I don't know how AI is programmed, but yeah. You could just make them add more construction. I wouldn't even care if they just gave them free construction that scaled with their GDP. Like, at this point, just to make them a lot better. Yeah. You're in my time zone? Yeah. Okay. So you were up at like... No, you were up at like 4 a.m. Because I was up at 4 a.m. Right? We're both West Coasters? Okay, I got it. Got you. In my head, Canada's like all on the East Coast. Except when it's on the West Coast. You're in the Midwest time zone and it's 11? Yeah. Antisocial Streamer Club basically asks CC. What do you mean we're gonna start it? We already made it. We're the antisocial streamers. Yeah, you broke the rules. You left the group. Now it's just me. Alone in the antisocial streaming group. You streamed with the social streamers. Terrible. That company is insane. That's what we were thinking. And it's in Svealand, which actually has the actual best company in the game. Actually, this might be better than that company, to be honest. Why not just have the AI build X amount of construction sectors for every Y GDP they have? I think maybe the way to do it would be to set a target that's proportional to their national income. They try and have construction goods be proportional in some way. But, because if the AI deletes and rebuilds construction sectors, that's not a big deal. I would also not care if they made it so the AI could instantly construct a construction sector. But then everyone's gameplay would look completely average. Paradox wants to give us the dopamine of thinking we're so good we can conquer the world. Yeah, fair enough. Then you'd actually have to understand the game instead of just being like, oh, GDP line goes up no matter what I do. Wholly disgusting, Batman, basically. You're on VTM and AI Frankfurt. I didn't feel like in VTM even the AI was that much better, but I did think it was a little bit better. Right now, the AI just disgustingly overbuilds military, like in a way that's really not very good. But even the newbie buff makes small countries strong. Let's check out the mod. More AI buff, historical strategies, interesting. I guess maybe we could show the chat. We could show the class. Huh? We could maybe show the class what we're looking at. So, more AI buff, historical strategies. So they get more strategies. Oh, with specific strategies in mind. Oh, and then this AI buff gives it more bureaucracy, authority, convoys, construction. Yeah, I mean, like, something like this, I think might be, like, reasonable just to make, like, the game feel more challenging and interesting. I generally hate it when games do that, though. Yeah. Streamed with the SS group. Broke the rules by leaving the group. That sounds like what an antisocial gamer would do. True, says Tarkus. I agree. That's true. That's super true. Just you break it just once would be like the epitome of maximalizing antisociality. Or joining their stream and just never saying anything. Main problem is they don't build up. Yeah, this is 100% the problem. The AI just doesn't build anything. AI Ching is a particularly bad case, where AI Ching just oscillates between building and deleting all of its government administration. It's just like, it does like actual nothing. In all your recent runs, US gets ganged up by Mexico and GB, failing GP status as well. US has interesting problems in that the AI does not know how to actually handle having a conscription army, so they conscript up and then they eventually collapse. Yeah. You enjoyed it, but if you go martial, it's unfair. Diplo plays could be something that's good for the game if you could ask for something and realistically de-escalate. Yeah. Or, like, I wish I could just, like, put out some feelers. Like, if I'm... Let's say I'm playing France, and I want to go after North Africa. So let's say I'm just playing France, right? And this is the state of affairs here. I would like to be able to put out my feelers to the other GPs to know that they wouldn't interfere. And if a Diplo play took that type of characterization, then I think it'd be interesting. But like right now, it's just like there's no way to extricate yourself except by giving up the what is you have to like give up the war reps. Like that's the only way for you to back out, and it's just hyper punishing if something goes wrong. Which, to be fair, now it's nice that you get this. You didn't get this before. Like this is such a big improvement, but like even then, it's like I don't know. You liked it with Newbie. It made all the small countries be involved. This AI buff in some Civ 6 style difficulty. Yeah, exactly. Just straight up give them cheats so they can catch up, improve head starts instead of improving AI logic. Yep, that's exactly what it does. It's a band-aid over a bigger problem. I think AI is probably harder to make for these games than it is for Civ. But yeah, someone else said it earlier that people want the dopamine. They want to feel the power of their or they want to feel the joy of their power increasing. I think that a lot of Paradox players don't actually want really hard games, to be fair. We can take a look at the companies, but we think that overall the most obscene companies are in here in Australia, probably, in the aggregate. But they did add a bunch of companies for Sweden. On top of Sweden having... Yeah, this company is just so bananas, dude. We need to have compression ignition. Oh, that kind of changes things, actually. You need compression ignition. So you won't get that company until hyper late. Okay, fair enough. It's still disgusting, but you won't get it until, like, super late in the game. Seems a little bit more... I mean, that doesn't change how insane the company is. It just makes it so you can't get it until really late. Is there a country anyone wanted me to check other than Japan? We're gonna check Japan. This company is also really good. And it's... Okay, that one's Brunswick. I want to look specifically for... Yeah, Norway and Sweden. Yeah, so Norway and Sweden seem to have really good companies. But this company was also really good. What does this require? Open hearth process. So yeah, you'd probably use this. This company looks insane. So like, it's just strictly better than one of the best companies in the game. One of the best companies of the game is the Antofagasta company, which is just railway plus sulfur plus 5% infra. This gives you also iron and steel and an additional 5% infra. Yeah. I'm glad to know the USAI and I have so much in common. You know, the truth hurts sometimes. You've been collaborating with Just to Write Another Map mod creator, overhaul the base map to add more details, native states in the Americas. So, if you are a map mod maker, my understanding is this is somewhat difficult, but I really want to play a Texifornia game where Texas and California are merged, and you have access to both sides of the coast somehow. I don't know if that's hard to map mod, but if it's not, I would love a mod that just creates Texifornia. How to lose your subscribers. So yeah, so this is one of the best companies in the game. It has 5% less infrastructure, and it doesn't have the iron and steel on it. You do get the Industrialists approval, but that's not like one of the better parts of it. And this is like one of the best companies in the game. Like this might be BIS, even. It depends, but like the fact that this is just like strictly, or not strictly, but it's just so much worse than that Norwegian company is wild. That Norwegian company is like really bananas. The Wild West era of Vic 3 with every diplomatic play being a total clusterfuck. Yeah, I'm glad that that's kind of over, but it's still like a bit rough. Strategies ads does help. A way to do not interfere packs between GPs would be great. Yeah, and also, but like, also there's like the hyper artificial, if you join on the side of a play with them. So like, if the UK has an uprising in the Mosquito Kingdom, I can join on the same side of a play as them. They cannot prevent me from joining on the same side of a play as them, and then they are ineligible to join against me. That is also insane from a game mechanics perspective, and that's what you do as the player to abuse the AI. Like, that's stupid too. You don't want hard, you just want the line to go up. I am hard when the line goes up. Basically a less tangible defense pact where you can't interfere with each other guy. Yeah, or like, you could have a mutual threatening match. Like, that would be, like, the GPs should like warn each other to not do something, and then they have to play some sort of game of chicken, right? Where neither really wants to fight, but they just want the other side to back down. That would be super neat if that's what the Diploplay felt like. And I think that's kind of like how the Diploplay was described, but that's not how the Diploplay is in like execution. In execution, the Diploplay is just like a delayed declaration of war that's just stupid for like infinite reasons. Not infinite, but like it's really dumb. You have to put in all the war goals you want at the start. You can't join ongoing conflicts. You know, the ticking below zero thing is just also silly. This is one of the... This might be the best company in vanilla. The South Manchuria Railway Company. I don't know. What is the best company in vanilla? The best company in vanilla might be the tools, steel, and motor company in Belgium. It might be this. Mitsui I also think is pretty solid. But Kajima, this is also a very strong company. Really good if you can use it early. You need railways though. Gives power plant railway building throughput. Max construction progress is not that strong a modifier, but it is better than nothing. Someone said the Japan ones were insane. Ooh, 50% throughput here. The game didn't cut out. My preview is hyper delayed though. We were maybe gonna take a look at some mods. You're assuming Ethiopia doesn't have any good companies? Ethiopia has 0 companies. You feel like the next DLC will either kill the game or make it a lot better. I think it's gonna make it a lot better, but like they're not fixing the Diploplay, which I think is the worst thing in the game. And I've been saying it for forever. Texafornia as a country or a single state? Making a country Texafornia would be easy to do. No, making it a single state, merging the 2 states, and making it a country, but also merging the 2 states. Critically, merging the 2 states, making it so that the California and Texas, all the resources and stuff are merged. It has 1,000 arable land. You have the Texas resources and the California resources. I really want to do a Texafornia run where I have access to both sides of the coast and just do a single state. Because who needs anything more when you have Texafornia? Yeah, but doesn't the game prevent you from joining a side if you have -20 relations or worse with the war leader? Yes, but you can game the AI to like never be in a position where that's like a consideration. If you want. British commanders. Some upstarts and bleeds have risen up. We can use about 0.01% of our power to defeat, but thankfully Americans have our back basically. And completely prevent us from, you know, joining their play against the British East India Company. So, like, let's demonstrate that. Oh, we need to find who has a strategic interest in up here. All right. All right. So, Qing has a couple interests. So let's do this. As Austria, you declared war for a Danish town goat. Somehow Great Britain wants to take Dalmatia from you. Yeah, the truth hurts sometimes. It do be like that sometimes. We're gonna show some silliness here. Yeah, allies are also completely worthless. Which is like, doesn't feel good at all. Oh, we have to wait for them to accept, I think. Oh, no, wait. Yeah. Perfect. Let's do this. Now we're declaring on the British East India's subject, which doesn't auto-pull in the UK. The UK cannot join against us. The UK cannot... Ooh, can they join against us? I was under the impression they can't. I believe that that's illegal, because we're on the same side of a play as them. So, we will get ourselves a war with the UK, and you can do this against the UK. You can find a fight with the British East India Company anytime you want by doing this. My understanding there's a way to completely bust up the East India Company, but I forget how to do it. But there's nothing the UK can do to intervene. They cannot not allow our support here. It's really stupid. So, do they patch alliances to actually do something? No, they just annoy you. They're not worth the diplo, their influence. I think being able to leave a war with no downsides should not happen. Like leave a play or leave a war. I think once you've been swayed, yeah, you shouldn't be able to. Either we have trade agreement plus 60 relation, truly psychotic. Yep. Sometimes they just randomly get belligerent. They're getting rid of that with the diplomatic catalyst mechanics. You can ally people of similar GDP now. What does max weekly construction do? Okay, so we have 30 construction here. Let's find someone with more construction, actually. Okay, we have 54 construction here. This, we can only dedicate about... Here, let's add another thing. Okay. We can only dedicate about 25 construction here to the food industry before we have to overflow the rest and have it construct on the coal mines. What the max construction does is instead of this number being 25, it would be 30, so we can put more construction per week into a single building, which will allow us to construct it a little bit faster, but then it's not overflowing to the coal mine, so it's not really giving you more construction. It allows you to build what you're building just a little bit faster, so overall it's not really a strong modifier, but that's how it works. Wait, can expelling diplomats kick someone out, off your side? If they buff that and make the AI use it, that could ruin a lot of gimmicks. Yeah, but the AI is not gonna... I don't think it... I don't think it will. But we'll see. Okay, so we're now hostile, so we should be completely ineligible to be on their side. And yet, we remain on their side. So, almighty Uruguay solos Texifornia, let's be honest. So you know that you guys, for those of you who are talking about the Turtle Island thing, oh no wait, Uruguay, I thought you said Paraguay in my head. Yeah, Paraguay is not even the best start for Turtle Island. Texifornia basically just merged California, no. No. Don't merge all those. No. Not all of them. Merge only California and Texas. Just merge these two. Don't merge California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas in one state. Just the two. Just the two. I want a degenerate mod, is what I want. I guess it's mostly useful for high construction cost buildings like Panama Canal or Statue of Liberty. Well, it doesn't really give you more construction. It gives you, if we're the UK, right, in this situation where we're kind of taking a look at it, it gives you, you can think of it, it gives you a week of operation on your, like, food industries, or, like, an additional 1 or 2 weeks of the, this is how you think of it, it's giving you 1 to 2 weeks of operation on a building. That's the value it gives you. Which is like, I really don't think that that's that valuable, but it's like also not nothing. But it like, I mean, it'd definitely be super nice when you have the high construction cost buildings, but like overall as a modifier, it's like weird to evaluate. This is not a massive issue in your opinion, but single states are OP in the game. Silesia is way better to build up in. Yes. 100%, because the region is split into multiple areas. Yeah, Mappy should also just work different. I agree. But the reason that they do not implement a variation of Mappy that is more reasonable, where if you buy coal from Silesia and you buy it in Brandenburg, it costs the exact same penalty as if you bought it from Beijing. This is really silly. But this is how the game works. It doesn't care how far you've transported it. It should care how far you've transported it, and transporting something just one state over should have minimal costs. The reason they can't implement it like this is not because it's hard to code, it's because it would cause too many calculations for the game. And so we see like a performance thing like rear its ugly head yet again, because the way it should work is, yeah, the less far you have to transport the good, the cheaper the cost of transportation should be. MAPI is an abstraction of cost of goods, right? But that's not how it works. Like isolated or with a thin line that connects them, I want them to be the same state. I want them to be one single state called Texifornia, and for Texifornia to be adjacent to this C node, and also be adjacent to this C node, and be adjacent to the following states: Rio Grande, Chihuahua, my grandma's from Chihuahua, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Baja, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon. This is the mod that I want. This is my dream. You'd complete them faster, I mean, yeah. 2 enclaves is what I'm understanding. Yes, but they're the same state, so they have access to each other. And also, when you had an army leave, they would be able to leave through either C node. I'm not sure which side should have the port. Ideally, I would actually want it to be like Panama, where you have both sides. But, so you don't want a contiguous corridor between the two, but 2 separate territories as part of one state. Yes, this is exactly what I want. I want the psychotic Texifornia mod. I really want to do a Texifornia run. I want to be able to complain about everyone coming to Texas from California, and California from Texas. Should be possible, though might have issues with the market access, would have to test. Someone else who is not doing like a lot of map modding tried to do it, and they told me it was hard, or they encountered problems. And I like, if Gene, if you think it would take you like a long time to do, or like would be like anything more than just like a little thing, then like I don't want you to like sweat it for the sake of the memes. But if anyone, I will do a Texifornia run if someone makes a mod for it. I will do a Texifornia run so fast. Actually, I'll wait for 1.7 to do a Texifornia run, because I would want to do a 1-state run. 100 oil in 1 state, 16 gold. It would suck that you'd kind of get the state construction efficiency, but like, I guess kind of whatever. Plantations and whatever throughput. Just stack all the modifiers, which Texas doesn't get any. Do you know that in the Victoria area they created teleportation machines? Yes. Of course, distance had no impact on cost. Definitely not. With the yeah. Teleportation, they had cost, Tarkus. They cost MAPI, historically speaking. Ay, Dios mío, Señor Gaming es Mexicano, viene de Mexico, el PogChamp. Señor, yeah, call me Señor Gaming. What's this Mr. business? Sabes que. But, yeah. It does. Let's check Australia. I think Australia also had, like, the best, some of the best companies. Wait, the upsides just sound like Guyana when it's fully integrated? I'm not sure I follow. Like Russian Manchurian Railway, but California Texan. MAPI was what they called the teleportation juice. Facts. Man spitting straight bars. Alright, so I remember thinking this, there were some really OP companies here. So Urban Center building throughput, I think this is pretty strong. Power plants building through. Yeah, this company looked really good too. This is one of the early ones we spotted, and we're like, what is that? Doesn't look as good as 20% mining though, I guess. I think the problem might be the ports, since you can only have 1 port per state. How does Panama work on the port? But yeah, I guess you would have to put the port in California. Would be the more sensible place to put it. But Panama has a port on this side, right? And they don't have a port on this side. Unless there's a canal. Everyone remembers the California-Texas Canal. Magic-altering positional intoxicant. So resources in the non-state, non-port state might not get exported out again. Would have to test this. Well, I know there's some like funky stuff that can happen where. So if you have a state, where's the state? I think this is the state. If you have a state, always has access to itself. So if you have a state that's like completely separated in the middle, which can happen. Occasionally, it can happen like up here if you like conquer and release in a funny way versus Russia. It might be that Kishijuj, Ulijuj. It's one of these states where you can actually have like the middle of it cut out. And if you do this, each side of the state still has access to each other. But I mean, if you're making a map mod, I probably shouldn't be like trying to tell you stuff. You probably understand it way better than I do. Oh, you mean this? Guyana is the Dutch, Great British, French. Okay. Señor Generalístico jugando. Es más fuerte. Me gusta levantar los pesos. Pesas. What's weights? Is weights pesos? I think weights is pesos. You're looking at one calculation while the game has to do simultaneous calcs for all goods, all states, all transactions, which is a lot of calcs. Yeah, exactly. Which is why we have MAPI rather than as an abstraction of transporting the goods. Which I think is super reasonable. But could it help with the local prices we're calculating, including all adjacent states' goods, or would that kill performance? Well, I think that what you could do is you could do mini markets. So you could maybe do mini markets according to strategic region. Would be the way to semi-localize it. In a way that makes sense. He likes to lift weights, Pog. Yeah, I basically could say like 5 things in Spanish. Mucho gusto. ¿Dónde está el baño? Ahora sí, cabrón. So, I don't know that much Spanish. Let's see. I mean... It would also be funny to have a canal from California to Texas, but now the mod is... Now the nature of the mod is changing. I have to take a closer look at exactly how trade route competitiveness works. I'm super dreading, like, actually trying to do a really comprehensive trading tutorial, because there's a lot of, I feel about trade that I don't feel I understand super well. Like, a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff. Like, I understand the overall strategy and what I think it should be, but... Dos cervezas, por favor. Basically. Yeah, that's all you need. But yeah, so wild, like one of the very best companies in the game. There's just like a strictly better one in this mod. Campaña de Salitres y Ferrocarril de Antofagasta. One of the best companies in the game. Go to Norway, there's like a basically strictly better. Hey, Gene, thank you so much for the dono. Again, thanks for all the great work with your videos, especially the tutorial ones that are goldmine. Thank you so very much for the dono. And also, like, looking into the mod as well. Much appreciated, my guy. You're, like, part of the late night squad, generally, right? Or that's when you can watch? I don't normally stream later at night. Thank you so much, though, Gene. Like, but yeah, where's the company? Let's find the company. This company. Just like so much better than the Antofagasta company. I guess we just take it off of Norway, huh? The Orkla company. Just go for Norway. This company seems bananas. The mini market in North-South Germany sounds reasonable, but then you start looking at Mancho's strategic region as massive and barren with little infra. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I suggested, like the first day of the beta, when the first time I had to interact with electricity, is them making the electricity or the local goods function by strategic region instead of be completely local, just because the micro is so obnoxious. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to talk about massive expanse of land, maybe we should talk about North China too then, eh? Or South China. Or certainly one of the African ones is insane. Like, there's no way that... Africa is like, with this map projection, Africa looks really small. Like, you can fit all of China in, like, here, or whatever. And, like, all the USA can fit, like, inside. Like, Africa's massive. And, like, that this would share goods with this is just completely insane. As well. Yeah. Pog free $20, says Tarkus. Basically, you just make the videos and then people give you money. Very appreciative though, Gene. The way someone generates revenue from like content creation is just like a little bit strange. Just in general, but also the Great Plains is funnily shaped for like, or Pacific Coast, yeah, Alaska with Baja, that like doesn't necessarily make sense, but I'm proposing something that would have way fewer calculations than on a state-by-state basis. So stuff like paved roads give you 100% mappy within a strategic region. Yeah, or having, yeah, two separate mappies, the strategic region mappy and a global mappy or something like this. Would be maybe a way they could improve it. You can already get 100% mappy with the river bonuses though. With these bonuses. And the regular 95%. Gene is the late night squad. Giga Chad. Good night, fellow map gamers. Good night, Lucas. Gene Chad, you mean? Yeah, you're late night. You work overnight shifts, so you keep vampire hours. That's what I remember. Were you the... You did food prep, right? Or you butchery? Was that you? If I recall correctly. Mercator pilled. Bro, Mercator projection is whack. We can't have that. Let's see best map projection. Let's just look it up and then trust whoever's thing. I almost got a map from my wall. Oh, this map projection's real good, but it freaks people out. Here, let's get this browser up. And pull up the map we were taking a look at. People hate this map projection. My understanding is this map projection's like one of the most accurate ones. For some reason, people don't like it. Could you imagine playing a map game on this thing, though? That'd be so sweet. But look how big Africa is. Look how big it is. Look at how big it is. You work at a grocery store, night stocking and meat department. That's what it was. That includes butchery, though, right? For still, strategic regions also a little whack, yeah. But this is like a map projection. Surely one of the map projections of all time, but it's way more accurate in terms of the size of things. I think Ricky 3 is not as bad as like some games are, though. There's a bunch of different map projections, though. Just make sure we don't accidentally show nudity when, you know, picking up maps. You don't like having the Pacific Ocean in the middle of the map? It looks strange. Yeah, I mean, these map projections are trying to do kind of a similar thing. Like, Gall Peters is, like, a lot more size accurate. So is this one here. Like, Europe is way smaller in these. Robinson has Europe being way bigger than it, like, is. Watermelon's a funny-ass looking one. I've never seen that one before. Was it? But all of these are also Western-centric. As well. There's also Eastern-centric map projections. Or Asia-centric. So, check this out. Look at that. Yeah, but I don't do any of the bittering. You value your fingers too much. I see. Yeah, some of those slicing machines are, like, sketchy as hell. I was thinking, like, butchering with just, like, a cleaver or a knife, but then, like, I don't want to stick my hands near a machine. But this is a map projection. Can you imagine how, like, mad people would be if they used this? I wouldn't care. I think it's pretty neat. But, like, talking about Pacific Ocean in the middle of the map, man. But this is, like, if Asia imperialized the rest of the world, this would probably be, like, the map projection we would have. Because this makes way more sense if you're being, like, Asia-centric. But this is, like, a map projection that, like, makes people uncomfortable. Because, I mean, I think it's not because of, like... I think it's because it's really not what people are used to. More so than, like, necessarily some sort of, like, xenophobic type thing. But, like... When I discovered this, I was so, like, excited about it. A lot safer with a knife. It makes sense. Like, I like... I generally operate with, like, ground beef and chicken breasts because they're cheap. So, like, I've not, like, done too much, like, carving up of stuff myself. For a hot minute, I wanted to do, a lot more, like, I wanted to try and get into smoking, but the meat's kind of expensive. They use power saws, it slices just through the meat or anything else. I've seen meat cutters get their hands torn into work at least 3 times. Bro, that makes me uncomfortable. You also can't make them safe like you can with the wood, like with a wood saw or whatever, or a table saw, you can make it safe with the, like, electrical current, like, auto shut-off thing, but you obviously can't do that with meat. So the meat cutter has to cut through the meat. I think having the center ocean and landmass being pushed to the sides is making me feel weird. So Mr. Heavy Rifle. It's definitely not what people are used to. But I think it's like, I think it's so cool to think how, like, how things that we take for granted, like a map projection, you know, being the way they are as a result of history, and how that could have been different is just so cool to like think about and like look through, like we have here with this map. There was two mods that people wanted to check out. I guess we'll take a look at them too. So speaking of maps, this is one of them. So tech update. Okay. Oh, Kurt. So we do see... Oh, is this a different map projection? Dude, now I'm, like, trigger happy about map projections. Probably not. Japan position is similar to Great Britain with all the Greenwich Mean Time stuff. Yeah. If you can learn to debone a chicken, it's really fun. I think I would have a fun time like playing around with meat. I certainly have a fun time playing around with meat. So we have tier track. So this is, I'm assuming, just a huge overhaul of, I wish we could zoom in more, of tech, standing army. Is there a different start date? Okay, so the start date is 1736. I'm really leery about things that alternate the start date, because I think that they, in general, my experience with one of the mods that changed the start date is they just, like, add nothing to fill in the things, so we're starting the map way earlier. Oh, and it's... Okay. So this is Rome survived type of mod. Usually meat processors should have nail gloves. That makes sense. Also wild. Ultimate solution would be using the globe as the base for the map, as Gilded Age is doing. Yeah, Gilded Age looks interesting, super ambitious, but yeah, that would be the ultimate solution in terms of map games. Like, for being absolute perfect. I stopped covering the dev diaries because they weren't getting so many views, but the crowdfunded Victorian era game, that might have the game wrong, but it was Gilded Age, or it might be Gilded Era, but someone confirmed Gilded Age, yep. It's hexagonal. Oh, we have Al-Andalus. Like, so this is another, like, alternate history thing, is, like, the Americas could have been mostly Muslim if Iberia was still controlled by the Muslims. Like, if there was, like, a 200-year difference in terms of... Looks like Commonwealth's also in there, Bavaria, huge France. I guess French Revolution things. Whoa! Qing Explosion start. It's probably actually kind of sick. The thing that makes me scared of these mods is you like already can only play so many years, so extending the timeline is generally a less appealing thing to me. You know what I mean? Gilded Destiny, that sounds more correct actually. Terra Invicta has a globe. Grey Eminence would have a globe too. Not playing Manor Lords at Generalist Gaming? No, we're probably not going to play Manor Lords. Manor Lords seems really saturated with content creators, to be honest. And also the game doesn't look that appealing to me. So, big Mughal. That is a big Mughal. No EIC as well. This mod looks... The start condition looks interesting. I don't know if I like the aesthetic of the map, but having a unique looking map is always good. So we see the Palaiologos Renaissance, which is for Byzantine, which is going to give extra landowner strength, it looks like. Institutional corruption. Okay, so they're going to have some problems. The meta system, which is going to give them a bunch of positive. Plus 25% home defense. That's a crazy modifier. Plus 25% conscriptable battalions is really strong. Agriculture throughput, 10%. Interesting putting these modifiers into country. This is like definitely not what Vanilla agrees with, but looks like that's resolving a little bit of a thing. We have SPQR as an ideology, which monarchy... fair. Oligarchy, fair. Hereditary bureaucrats. I don't know if I like hereditary bureaucrats as part of the simulation, but fair enough. Tagamata. Can you guys read what's on the screen and stuff? Palaiologos. Yeah, this is some Byzantine wet dream, not your flavor. Yeah, some people do like the Byzantine stuff. We're okay with it. I don't think I would play Byzantine. Whoa, if they're showing unit models, do they have custom unit models? That's kind of wild. Venice is big. Do you really think Venice gets big as a trade hegemon if, like, there's a massive Byzantine Empire, though? Like, historically speaking? Okay, well, whatever. Sarmatism is a thing. Reestablish chariot racing. Locked in. This is what we're playing. It's quite small, so it's hard to read. Is there a way to zoom in then? No! No! There's no way to zoom in. Son of a bizzle. Kinda. Yeah. Okay, so we'll cruise through these. Mainly just looking... I'm going to try not to read so much. I'm just trying to do big picture type stuff. Persia's pretty big. Look, see, this building here is a hippodrome. And the Hagia Sophia and the Megapolitan. Yeah, so this just does look... In Constantinople, of course. So this does look like a bit of a wet dream. Constantinople, it is showing... It doesn't show how many pops in total, but there's like 2 million Romans. Or Romai. I don't know what this is showing. Atlantic Seaboard. Oh, is this showing Atlantic Seaboard? So this must be a colony of... The Americas are a colony of them, or were. Revived chariot racing is an event. Spice plantation is interesting. So new type of building to make the game lag more. We love to see it. Steam Zoo is whack. RL hate it. What screwed up the Venetians historically anyways? Well, the nature of trade stopped flowing through the Mediterranean so much. We see horse ranches, so horses are going to be a good. Integrated Italian beauty with miniature world, miniature kill. Okay. This is settled Australius. So I'm guessing that's by them. We see Al-Andalus is strong. This is part of a Byzantine colony by the looks of it. Antioch is going to be Byzantine. Mexico has Nahala, Zapotec, and Miztec, so maybe they're independent. Ica, so these have all indigenous. Okay. Welcome to an alternative world, 100 years earlier than Victoria III, where many of the divergent histories led to a drastically different world, primarily inspired by Roman, medieval, and Renaissance history. Byzantine Empire mod. Features, detailed alternative history campaign. Game starts in 100 years earlier. Expanded tech tree, including 40 new techs. Law buildings, production methods. Rebalance nearly all aspects of the game to make it more deep and more challenging. Big nice. Literacy increases production efficiency like in Victoria 2. Interesting. I think we maybe like that. Hundreds of new unique nations. New political parties, interest groups, new decrees, new companies, new cultures. Yeah, this seems like a pretty big overhaul. Buy coffee. Buy coffee. Does look interesting. Venice got screwed when Columbus sailed west. Yeah, this is also probably a pretty good explanation. Lost being the middleman between Asia and Europe. Yep. I think that's... So let's look at TNO remade. And then we'll probably call it a stream, because it's kind of a little bit of a more chill stream. So I think this is what people were suggesting, the new Order of Victoria 3 by TNO. I think that's what people were suggesting. Otto kind of screwed Venetians indirectly, mostly when Portugal decided they wanted to trade benefits of Asian trade and found Goa. Yeah. Crash between Ottomans and Habsburgs. Pie chart cringe. Speaking of diploplays again. The horror. We hate them. All the GPs are having a great war every 5 years on cooldown about German leadership that no one ever wins. It's 1816. It's been happening for 20 years. That's interesting. The AI's been a little bit better at resolving that recently. They used to get super gummed up because you can't borrow troops on offense, which was ridiculous. Okay, so what's different about this? Okay, China is a lot different. Xinjiang. You see a lot different here. This map, it kind of hurts my eyes a little bit. So we have Großmenschreich, Italian Empire, Republic of Turkey. Is this a World War II mod? Moscow, no, but this isn't Russia, so okay, this is another alt history mod. Balkans is Balkanized. It do be like that. This is something. I don't know what that's indicating. This is all Siberian stuff. Russia just gets split into a million pieces. The last days of Europe. Okay, so let's read the mod a little bit. Mod Good wrote, if you can, please. Okay, we'll take a look. It's kind of the Hoey 4 one. Oh yeah, I don't know if I would. Okay, this mod inspired by its original Hoey Hearts of Iron 4 counterpart. I don't know if I would play a Hoey 4. Like, the best thing about Hoey 4 is the combat. I don't know if I would want to play that on Victoria 3. Represents an exploration of an alternate Cold War scenario. Oh, alternate Cold War scenario. Okay, fair, fine. We firmly denounce all hateful ideologies. True. This mod is not, under any circumstances, intended to idealize, promote, or trivialize the ideologies or regimes that have brought untold suffering to millions. We categorically reject any interpretation of this mod that serves as a platform for glorifying or fantasizing about such entities and actions. The absolute cowardice in this opening paragraph to not say which ideologies are hateful specifically. Are we talking about democracy here? What is this? Why don't we denounce them specifically? Whatever. I shouldn't. I'm mostly joking. Guys made a mod. They put a thing at the top. They don't like fascism, I assume, or they don't like communism, or they don't like both. All right. Let's see. Overview. A combination of the economic and political depth of the Victoria 3 with chaos and conflict of the TNO universe. Take control of a nation and pilot it through the scenarios ranging from a three-way not-so-cold war to a desperate struggle to reunite Russia under your vision, all while competing for economic dominance in your sphere of influence. Pick from a huge and diverse selection of countries play as liberal democracies, fascist authorities, and corporate technocracies, communist revolutionaries, holy theocracies, and many more. Okay, beginning in 1962. So they're going to have an entirely new economy. Is this mod super good? Are there a lot of subscribers? 12,000 subscribers. Looks like it's not updated for 1.6. But does look somewhat interesting. I think there's only one. I think we're gonna look to only play the Cold War once. But Cold War mod's not updated either, so. I think Columbus was Genoverse, which makes this funnier. TNO is kind of like what if Germany won World War II. Okay, that makes sense. The map is harsh. Yeah, the map, I don't like the map on my eyes. Not enough saturation and contrast, and also it's like super dark. I don't like it. A new Willahia play? We're not gonna start one today. We're just taking a look at some mods that people are suggesting. Morgan wrote. Morgan wrote. Wow. This is the one that I was most excited about, and if I wasn't going to be using the Patreon poll as a means for deciding what to play, probably would have just jammed this, but the USA flavor mod was winning, so. Looks like they have a ton of videos. But like, here we can probably do this. So one thing it's going to add is newspapers. Balloon is killed by whale. That hurts. The truth hurts. Florida man catches alligator for zoo. My brain read that catches zoo for alligator initially. I don't know if I'm gonna get bopped for the music. So maybe we don't watch the videos. I don't know if I'm gonna get copyright struck. But let's take a closer look at some of this stuff. So World of Sports, it does add a sporting thing. It adds a whole bunch of different type of flavor stuff. If by the time you have Timber and Steel or Gas, Garb, Guns, it's a lot of G's. I think a lot of the modders are holding off updating because they thought 1.7 was going to drop in May, and then things got pushed back for 1.7, which leaves so many mods in limbo. Yeah, which really sucks because now is like the exact time I want to play mods because there's a bit of a lull. Mugen Road is nice for cultural flavor. Add something vanilla really lacks. You spend an entire game doing nothing but finding animals for you to do and artifacts for your museum. Sign me up. So we have sports and tournaments thing. We have a balloonist. No athlete for the Olympic Games. Schneider Trophy. Total Ascents. This seems dope. International, the IOC. We don't like the IOC around here. We think the IOC is a corrupt organization. And by we, I mean me. But I'm trying to say you should too. Let's not unpack all that though. Give me my bat, true. Baseball will become the national sport in Cuba. Next Olympic site, so we can try and host the Olympics. I imagine that if you try and nominate your own, it's gonna cost you something. Like yep. Creating loyalists and radicals with football rivalry. Du Bois, Wonders of Nature. So we have naturalist, a paleontologist, an anthropologist, and an archaeologist. So many ologists, so little time. Promoting a specific academic. Interesting. So I'm guessing you can pay money. Scientific focus. Aren't there like inventions and stuff too? Yeah, academic investment. Depending on the scientific... I'll read this because you guys might not be able to read it. It's more than just flavor text. There's like... well, I guess maybe it is flavor text. We'll see. But I like the idea of making a zoo. Depending on the scientific culture of our nature, it takes longer or shorter for research to leave the university and become available to us as a researcher. Examples of academics are engineers, astronomers, naturalists, paleontologists, archaeologists, and anthropologists. It is purely coincidental which academic is available at the end, unless we specialize the university in a particular area. The scientists will then come from this area. The time it takes to graduate depends on factors such as the literacy rate, the investments in academic operations, the expansion of the institutions. A selected focus also increases the speed. Those factors contribute to your academic progress gain. If an academic comes from a field that is already occupied by another, you can choose to keep your academic or replace him. So we have scientific history. We don't see what this is going to give us. Archaeological Congress. We'll try and see if it gives any bonuses. So someone demands a museum, adds a focus on archaeology, found a museum to the Journal of France. You will have to collect 5 artifacts in 10 years. As a reward, the standard of living of the middle class in every state with a university will rise by 1 point for 5 years. That's pretty nice. And additionally, the Intelligentsia gain 5 approval for 10 years. Do you think Victory will ever expand onto Great Wars? And I 100% think that there's going to be a World War I mod at some point, or I mean DLC at some point. But I'd like to be able to get past 1900 before that mod or the DLC happens. So I don't think they're going to do that until like they fix the performance problem. And I don't know what the timeline for that looks like, because that's literally every single one of their patches is slower. And 1.6 was supposed to be faster, and it's slower. I've never had to abandon a run in the 1880s before, and I had to do it with the USA run. It's just too slow. The current, and not only is it too slow, it was like too slow in the 70s. Between mass conscription, casualty leading to exhaustion, and AI tendency for total war is pretty much World War I. I think it's intended to get to World War I, but like, yeah. Most rewards are prestige based, and Morgan wrote. Yeah, but I think it'd be fun to just grip it and rip it and like focus on all the stuff here. So maybe this is a one playthrough type of mod, if it's mostly prestige. But also you get a bunch of like unique guys. So this is Alessandro di Saluzzo, which makes for a nice story because you get like a mountaineer slot for your mountaineer athlete, you know, you get an academic slot for all your different types of academics. Prehistoric cave, get an unknown human fossil. That sounds inappropriate. So, human evolution, we see a bunch of fossils, taxonomy. You doubt there's a World War I start? Oh, not start, but I think it's intended to be able to be played into World War I. Worked with Paradox back when they added a World War I start to Victoria 1, and the amount of grunt work needed to set it up was insane. Yeah, I think that they've been pretty clear that they're not adding new start dates to any of their games, because people just play the earliest start date, so there's not a reason for them to do it. It's very fun to have a Snatch and Discovery of Uranus from Belgium, or have the best composer in the world. Yeah. Completely new pop file setups, new economy setups, new military setups. It's a lot of work. Yeah, I don't think that they're going to... In a few spots they've said that they probably won't add it. Trilobite, Return of the Beagle, it do be like that, getting biological specimen. This is giving us progress towards pharmaceuticals as well. We have different types of universities, which have modifiers, weekly innovation gain multiplier for production. That is a sharp departure from how unis work in vanilla. But okay. We see Mexico selling us a rare animal. Everyone collects rare fish. Shout out to rare fish. We get a zoo. This is prestige. Yeah, if it's mainly prestige, prestige isn't a very good reward. But it will be in, like, I think later on, we're seeing getting biological specimens, but also tech towards pharmaceuticals. That seems good. Turtle Island, tech towards pharmaceuticals. Turtle Island, the real Turtle Island. Show me the real Turtle Island. Oceanographic studies. Oceanic domination for 20 years, giving 2% Navy power projection. That's kind of okay. Navy defense and convoys requirement. Whoa, tech tree is looking a little different. Antiquarianism, philosophical something, theory of, I assume, evolution, early archaeology, pan-nationalism, paleontology. So, but this to me looks like one that would at least give us like a bit of a spicy playthrough where we focus on, you know, maybe mostly the flavor that's in here. It's like trying to trap an animal here. 5% weekly innovation gain for multiplier for society for opening in the Natural History Museum. And have more artifacts, Egypt artifacts than Great Britain. Have more Egypt artifacts than Egypt, the truth hurts. Good old Egypt importing, or the UK importing all the Egypt stuff. Missionary suffers martyrdom. The truth does hurt. Here we get Crisis in Paradise, which gives infamy. Don't really like the infamy events. Hey, Curtis, the Golden Age of Flight. That's my last name, with 2 S's and everything. So in here we can see airplanes, seaplanes, modern aviation. So we see some more, and early aviation as well. So we see a little bit more stuff with the planesies. I'm guessing we're going to see a bunch of... Ooh. Something gives a flight route, which I'm guessing is going to be similar to you collect the flight routes like you collect all of the animals or the, you know, specimens or this type of stuff. This seems to be just a bunch of different skins of kind of the similar system. Gain a flight route, yeah. Owns an airline, makes an airfield. Well, that seems a little bit interesting. Trade route, bureaucracy cost, weekly innovation for military, intergroup pop attraction, popularity, interesting. Becomes obsessed with flights. Yankee becomes obsessed with flights, so maybe there's a good for flights. High geographical decision, Zeppelin, North Polar. Let's see. Zeppelin missions. This looks pretty interesting. This mod is basically Victorian culture, which is what our game is missing. Truly gorgeous. This does look pretty sweet. I think that It's possible that if you play a ton with this mod, it eventually just becomes like another pop-up to click through in a lot of spots, which may be tedious, but I think playing through this at least once or twice actually seems pretty sweet. Adventures of our balloonist. Altitude recorded, distance recorded, time recorded. It's pretty cool. Let's see, the Schneider Trophy, so an airplane race. Seems cool. Are these mock achievements? Find Shangri-La, fly over the North Pole in an airship, and build a glamorous giant Zeppelin. Bro, if we get more Zeppelins zipping around the map, I'm all for it. That's how I want to spend my game resources. Let's be real here. We don't need the trains, we don't need the carriages. Give me the Zeps. I have to take out the trash too. Can't forget. Planning finished. Yeah, we're just gonna go through this one unless someone really needs to see another mod, but this mod makes the game run very slow, though. I must warn you, I never passed 1880. Son of a bizzle, dude. That's our main problem. Maybe we just play Switzerland and just do mod stuff. Cologne Cathedral. So this is a new building, giving urbanization, infrastructure usage per level. 1% throughput, just a throughput bonus, just like, I guess this is just like Big Ben. We see an opera house building up here. Yeah, so the introduction of a bunch of different types of buildings and goods will create an enormous more lag. We also see an observatory here, so it's a super bummer that the game is like, the performance is so bad on the game that like, we could boot up the USA game and I could just show you guys real quick, I guess. I wonder if we could even boot it up with this mod active. I have to clear out my save file. They have their own achievements. I've recommended playing as Belgium and stay small. That makes sense. You're really scared about what foreign investment will do to performance. I think it decreases the number of capitalist pop entities, so I think it actually helps performance slightly. But let's cruise through kind of maybe some of this real quick first. So I think we're close to the end of these. Yeah, burning of the Summer Palace. That's not ideal. Or let's see. Culture Nation as German complete Cologne Cathedral, Segundo Siglo de Oro. Yeah, but I think foreign investment will improve performance slightly, but like musical tradition and prestige. The unfortunate thing is that technologies +2 from classicism, romanticism, opera house. Interesting. So this is giving musical tradition. And here's the opera house. It outputs... Yeah, if you're going to introduce a bunch of new buildings and goods, it's going to, like, destroy performance, which is unfortunate. I'm not a fan of introducing a bunch of new goods, but... And here's a bunch of new cultural tech, we think. Mass culture, Art Deco, New Objectivity, Neoclassicism, Impressionism, Expressionism, Art Nouveau. I wonder what the developers use for computers when they are doing the work on the DLC. I wonder if they're using computers with at minimum requirements for the game or something better. I mean, I have something better, but I also run OBS in the background. Reach for the stars. We see this guy has the astronomer trait. Don't know what that does. Modern astronomy as a tech. Alright, well, let's kind of just cruise through some of this stuff. Return to archaeology. So I definitely think there will be an archaeology DLC. That'll be super dope. That seems super characteristic of the era, especially how the era is represented in culture is just the absolute plundering of Egypt, so we gotta have that. Early archaeology, modern archaeology, a couple new techs. Excavation license. Baghdad has the Cradle of Civilization modifier, +1 prestige. 1%. That's pretty solid, I guess. It has some achievements. Alright, so let's just hop back into the game real quick, and I'll show you guys why performance is kind of the thing I'm annoyed about. Although we're still on the companies mod, so in theory we should be able to disband and make some of these use some of these bananas companies. Are they in here? John Deere, they are in here. But this is the game speed. I wonder, because I really think that the 16 gig RAM requirement is really not valid. It should probably be 32. I think I have 16 gigs. So maybe that's my problem here. If the colossal orgies for videos or anything to reference, their setup is much better than the minimum or even the average. But, like, this is why we stopped the USA run, boys. You're likely to completely replace your computer later this year. Current one is custom from 2015, so already planning to get something high-powered. Yeah. But, like, look at this. I don't know. I just couldn't do it, man. This combined with pausing to record and like also trying to play tight, it was too much for me. I couldn't bear it. Alright, but let's see if we can maybe slot in some better companies here. That's your game speed in 1836? Bro, how do you even play the game? I would not play the game. Let's disband that. See what we can do. So the Kaiping Mining Company, even though we have a railroad company already, it doesn't seem insane to me. The Illinois premium goods we probably slot out. But we're just going to cruise through some of the new kind of ones for the mod. I mean, minting and migration interaction seems a little bit attractive, huh? Carrier coals. We could establish Coca-Cola. Kind of I think we gave up our tooling company, so we would like a tooling company. DuPont is pretty strong. Oh, this is so much better Bechtel than what we were using. Just the generic one. Max weekly construction railway building throughput and the 2. And we just have generics? Bro, do we not have just way more? I guess we have a lot that we can't slot in because we don't have the proper stuff built out for them. So maybe not the great reestablishment we were hoping. But definitely would slot in the very strong looking tooling company. I don't think this is better than the best vanilla tooling company though. It's better than... The USA doesn't have a unique tooling company. So this is like considerably better. And then we would be getting so much railway throughput. So once we get this bonus, we'll be getting 15% railway throughput, 20% from the company here. So that's 25 or 35%, and then an additional 10% here, so 45%. What are your PC specs? We have a Ryzen AMD 5600, and I think we have a 2GB graphics card, but it's really a good old graphics card. I think it's sufficiently bad when we're running OBS, which we are now, obviously, because we're streaming, that it uses the CPU's resources to run OBS instead of the graphics card. And if we had a better graphics card, we would do this. Have you tried profile based on optimization mod? It helps a ton. I mean, we've tried settings that are supposed to be more optimized, and it doesn't really do much. Kind of ruins the simulation. They're performing an enhanced mod, but that just gets rid of the pop all discrimination altogether. And pop yeet mod violently merge all pop tags. I mean, at this point, I might just like play with something that merges all cultures. I don't care about this from a simulation perspective that much. And like, bro, it makes the game run slow, yeah. We accept them all anyway. I mean, you're moving towards multiculturalism anyways. We're more Han than Yankee, though. You can see a little bit of a Han heat map. Wonder where they're at. Hey, there's where all the Han people are in our country. This was a fun run. I wish we got to play it deeper. I was really feeling like we were popping off super hard. 500 million GDP, 5K construction, 1881. Already have the malaria thing, so like we pretty much locked up almost all of Africa here. Prussia's a subject. Austria's in our customs union. Just very disgusting type thing. The spot merging even helped. My understanding is, I've heard about that mod, the aggressive pop merging mod, that it doesn't really help that much, but the one that just makes everything one culture will definitely help a ton. Where there's just one culture, it's just humanity or whatever, and everyone accepts it. But like, obviously that's gonna like ruin the simulation, like, to some extent, but like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's the fact that like, okay, so we can count the number of different pop types we have in Pennsylvania. Actually, it might be easier to just do it through here. So look, the game has to do a calculation for each one of these different ones. And what I think EU4, or EU5 rather, is doing is they're going to have like 5 different pop types. Right? There's going to be burghers, peasants, clergy, whatever. And so instead we have, just in terms of types, excluding culture and religion, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13 different types. Then they are further going to be fragmented. So in EU5, they'll have to be fragmented on religion and culture anyways, but it's 5 fragmenting rather than 13. And then on top of that, they will also have to be fragmented, or in Victoria 3, they also get fragmented per building. So the game keeps track of the capitalists in here versus the capitalists in here. And so like, it's 13, it's not going to be 13, but it ends up being like, I mean, we could just even trying to show exactly how many discrete entities have to be kept track of here is like tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now, it doesn't matter how many people are in these things, but it just matters that there's an individual unit. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Jesus, like, I'm trying to make a point, but like, it's actually just exhausting. Look at this. This is one state, guys. It's keeping track of all this. Right? And if it was one culture, instead of keeping track of all those numbers, however many that is, it would just have to keep track of laborers for each of these buildings. Which, to be fair, there's a bunch of different buildings. But as I was reading EU5, it seemed to indicate that it just pooled all the peasants together. So it wasn't tracking per building. And by not tracking per building, you're not creating additional point of fragmentation that is multiplicatively problematic with your other points of fragmentation, which are like culture and pop type. So you're not going to have to multiply the end result by 4, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But I was just counting places that have laborers. Governments and barracks don't have laborers. I don't think governments have laborers. They might, to be fair. No, they don't. Right? No, they don't. So, Do you try Krakow in 1.6? I've not. There's a streamer on Twitch that was doing it though. So we gonna try the pop merging mod on stream? I mean, we might try it. Not the merging mod though. I would just start with the one that just has one culture. My understanding is, so if the merging mod is like aggressive, or if the merging mod has to. I heard people saying that the merging mod like doesn't really help out much more than aggressive merging, which we already have turned on. And like if we look at Pennsylvania again. Like, if all of these guys were just one culture, it would be so much better. But instead, it's not just... There's Sunni Yankees. What the hell? How did that happen? I mean, we don't care, but... Oh, no, wait. I understand how this happened. Someone came over who was Sunni, and they got assimilated, but they didn't get converted. So this is how we have Sunni Yankees working in the motor industries. Right? So it's like, it's specific on every front. So it's specific on the cultural front, the religious front, the location front, and then the motor industries. Also, game runs smoother because AI is bad at liberalizing. AI never goes for multiculturalism. I think I've only seen it once in game. I think that this is very intentional on their part. I think this is also part of why they don't make the AI do well. Or why making the AI build more construction has not been a priority for them. Just about everything that they do seems to be informed by, like, nearly every economic change they've made has slowed the player down in terms of expanding GDP, which makes sense if you're trying to keep the performance throttled, because building a ton of construction also causes lag. And if the AIs all build a ton of construction, the game will slow down to like a snail's pace. Like if the AI actually played intelligent with the amount of construction they would build, they would cause a lot more lag because the fragmentation, remember the fragmentation's per building. If France, like in Pennsylvania, we had more buildings than France does in Burgundy, right? France has 5 different manufacturing buildings in Burgundy. They have 5 here, they have 4 here, they have 4 here, and every time they build more and more, it causes more fragmentation. To be fair, they're like not playing for economies of scale, but we, having more construction, will tend to, in a lot of spots, have more buildings, right? Which increases lag, because it's more fragmentation of the pops, and more stuff to keep track of. So depressing the AI's actual ability to play helps performance. But yeah, the AI not going for multiculturalism also helps out a ton. Generally, the game slows down a lot when you get multiculturalism. But, like, I don't want to play, like, what's suboptimal just because it makes the game not lag. Do you think the performance will ever eventually get any better? I mean, if they could have, they should have by now. I have no idea. This is, like, so beyond, like, the scope of my... Like, I don't understand how performance is programmed in games, so I'm really not the... like one to answer. Like I would just be speaking out of my ass if I were to talk on that. I don't really know. Like I mean, I guess I kind of know, but that's just from hearing communications from them and hearing other people talk, and not coming from like and people can exaggerate both the claims of like how much of a uphill thing this is and how much it's not and like this type of stuff. So it's really hard for me to say. I think they're really committed to this though. And I think this is the source of the problem. And as far as I can tell, and EU5 doesn't seem committed to this. And if EU5, I've just been thinking this week. If EU5 is like smart about how the economics works, which to me is the really interesting thing, then like they'll be ditching like a big chunk of this. What it sounds like, all this splintering, because I don't think this adds to like I don't think this adds to like gameplay that much. You know what I mean? I think what they would have to do, and it's a step in the right direction with the building. So right now, they have coming in an improvement that I think will improve performance, and I think that's foreign investment, because foreign investment makes all the capitalists go in one building, right? So instead of having Yankee capitalists be split because you can have Yankee capitalists working in the textile mills. Like, let's take a look at the fragmentation, right? There will be less fragmentation if there's a single building that holds all of the ownership, of these guys. For example, we have Yankee Protestants here that are working in the coal mines. And then we have Yankee Protestants that are working in the iron mines, right? If these were all in the same building, and that building collectively owned both the coal mines and the iron mines, you picking up what I'm putting down, then that's one less fragment. And so, ownership, the way that they're doing ownership is there's going to be two buildings, one for aristocrats, one for capitalists, and they're going to own all of the buildings, both in that state and in other states. And so I think that eliminates the fragmentation of the capitalists, right? Doesn't it eliminate the fragmentation of any of the other pop types, right? But eliminating the fragmentation of the capitalists is progress. If they slowly just actually make it so that they don't care about which building the laborers are employed in, because the problem is we have to track all of these different things. And if instead we just tracked laborers just by this singular state, rather than by the state in each building, it would significantly decrease fragmentation. And I think that's what EU5 looks like what they're doing. And I don't, like, it doesn't matter to me that, like, the laborer works here versus the laborer working here, right? But this is a complete overhaul of, like, the heart and soul of the game, which is just keeping track of every one of these pops and their material conditions for the purposes of, like, driving the entire political simulation. So I don't know how you would have to make a significant admission that the main project with how the game works is just not worth the trade-off in terms of gameplay. I think it's really unlikely that, like, there's an admission of that sort, but maybe we see more and more ways that there can be less fragmentation, like the ownership buildings that are going to own everything. I definitely think that splitting explosives from fertilizer was a mistake. That creates more fragmentation. I think separating the military shipyards from the shipyards was also a mistake. I think you just needed more PMs that gave you more granularity. Just like it would be like having, I think, the logging camps. Look, the logging camps have two different hardwood production. They used to only have one. This gives you more granularity. They should have done the same with military shipyards and regular shipyards. I mean, Navy needs a rework, but that's a whole other thing. I know just the amount of different pop groups is not so bad. The issue is that they have to have too many relationships due to difficult mapping percentages. I'm not sure if I'm following what you're saying, but Mappy doesn't actually detract from performance at all because it was already being calculated. From what I understand, they just share wealth from the percent power in the location. There's no single pop working in the building in EU5. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, which leaves me really excited for EU5. Because it seems like they're bringing over the good stuff from Vic 3 and then abandoning the disgusting amounts of fragmentation. But again, I also don't trust that Johan is like he seems like he's kind of blowing wind in some spots. Talking about how wealthy individuals can create monopolies themselves by owning the entire supply chain of businesses. You must be talking to someone in chat. They probably still track different capitalists because they all have different income. I think they all just collectively own the building. They'll track different capitalists because the different capitalists... I don't think they're going to track which capitalists own which building. I think it's all just going to be lumped together, that all these capitalists collectively split all of the outputs of all the buildings that are owned underneath the financial district, or whatever the building is called. So the financial district will own, like, the logging camps and the iron mines, and the profitability of that will be split amongst all the capitalists. That's how I understand it. Maybe an argument for individual tracking for at least laborers is wage. You need an individual wage for each building depending on profitability, but even merging them all into a single block seems better. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it matters for like this like employment idea, like, as well, where this thing's gonna hit equilibrium employment. Like, so for example, this doesn't employ up because the balance is negative, and it gives. So this is not something that EU5 would be as good about doing as like pulling labor from one thing to another because like profitability. But one issue with streaming pops would be politics. You wouldn't want all the laborers to be in the same ideology interest group, right? But you could have them. You could just assign them a percentage to be a split. I don't even know if how it's calculated now, but I think they're I think even now their support is split. So if we click on these guys support 2 interest groups. So it's split by percentage. Attraction 73%, 26%. So they wouldn't all support the same. 1 out of percent slider for production of products. This feels in the same vein as the regional mapping argument, where it's most realistic to track individual states of buildings, but it's better to do in the case of a big block for. Yeah, I 100% agree for the sake of calculations. I think that this is too much calculating. But I don't think they want to run it back. I don't think they want to redo the entire system. But I saw another big source of the other area of ingress they could have. You could see we lagged when we pulled that up. Is trade routes. I forget how we check. Here, let's do by country. So we have over 300 trade routes. Trade routes cause a lot of lag. Part of this is I think that they're calculated per day and they don't need to be. So like I think if we actually just deleted all of our trade routes, our lag would go down significantly. So it's financial district and manor house. All profit from building gets split as dividends for capitalist aristocrats in the respective building. Yeah, that's how I understood it, which means that all the capitalists effectively. All the capitalists are getting merged, so you won't have Yankee capitalists here and Yankee capitalists here. They will be Yankee capitalists in the financial district, and it decreases fragmentation. I don't know if overall performance is going to be increased in the patch, but just based off that one thing, it should improve performance from how I understand it. That's so Bechtel. Wiz has done major reworks before. To be fair, I don't know Enormous Mac's story. He was the one in charge for Stellaris. So that I don't know that much about development and this type of thing. I know it would take a huge admission that like what we're doing isn't working here in order to make that type of progress. I think and also I'm not a programmer, and I'm not like this is not necessarily something I know a lot about. This is just based on how information has been relayed to me, that getting rid of this degree of granularity would improve performance significantly. Or they could attack it from the trade route thing, because my understanding is the trade routes really just like here. Let's maybe show this off. So this is the speed right now. Okay. Let's delete average trade route. But I think that the trade route calculation happens too frequently when determining whether to make it bigger or smaller. Basically, for performance optimization, you want ethno-state isolationism, one-party state, and to have your entire country be in a single state. Stellaris 1.0 was 100% another game. He changed it fully. I mean the team, but he was the one in charge. Yeah, I mean, if they want to overhaul all of Vicky... Look, even my clicking here is getting faster. Vicky 1.0 was another game. The UI was certainly in another stratosphere. One of my furthest runs was a Russian run where I hard-forced isolationism, got to 1905, and your GP runs usually end. Yeah, because of performance. Yeah. I mean, I played Stellaris on release, but I don't remember what it was like, so it's hard for me to comment on the Stellaris being completely different. But, like, I don't know, I would also want to be able to keep trading instead of just, like, breaking the game. I think the game's just going to be so much faster here, and maybe we should have continued the USA run. We should have stopped trading. Okay. Well, first of all, this is going to crush our market as well. Look at this. Minus 75 on the oil. Really bad prices on a bunch of stuff. Bro, look at this. It's so much faster. And a bunch of significant import routes and export routes are being created. So, like, okay, the performance is going to go down, but, like... It's just so frustrating. Like, but I don't want to, like, just stop trading. I guess I could. It seems really stupid. Or I could be like, I will do one trade route per good. But a huge part of, like, what you do in game, like, revolves around the trade routes. Like, we would want to definitely, like, keep doing it. But, like, thank you for the follow, Pipluck. Big nice. But, like, this is just, like, that's such an insane difference, though. Yeah, that's the thing. You get 60 years in, you can set your interest in everywhere, and then you trade with everyone. Yeah, this is so much faster. This is actually playable. Make sure the AI doesn't replace the trade routes, embargo them all. Yeah, switch to isolationism. I mean, we're not going to play from here. Stellaris said tile grids where you built in a single pop worked it. Later it changed it fully. And tanked the game speed. They could use the sampling of the pops to calculate economic output instead of calculating every pop. Sampling of the pops? I'm not sure I follow. But yeah, okay, so if they figured out a way to improve trade, they wouldn't have to get rid of... Well, I still think this is not, like, maybe where you want the game to be in 1881, right? Because this is only 1/3 into the game in terms of speed. But this is okay, this is playable, but like we literally have no trade in a game that seems like it should revolve around it somewhat, huh? And so, and also people are going to create a bunch of trade routes with us, and that's going to lag the game. But yeah, we had 500 trade routes or whatever, and then we just put in a bunch of stuff. Our GDP collapsed a little bit here, though. I forgot what it was before. I think that we were making money, and now we're losing considerable amount of money, because our economy is collapsing. Yeah. Maybe they could do something with trade similar to the new ownership building, where you just select export wood, it goes to an international pool. Maybe. Then it's also... Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a kind of solution. That doesn't sound very satisfying. I would like to be able to target trade with countries, but yeah, maybe that's better. Also, maybe bigger markets, so less trades. I just realized you have Joshua Norton as your leader. What a meme run. Yeah, we do have Joshua Norton as the leader. I have the run all uploaded on the YouTube. That was the run. I mean, I guess we could continue it. We'd just stop trading, something like this. Collapse our economy here. Alright, let's look at prices real quick. So this is collapse. Like the movement towards the significant ends of the spectrum, especially the minus 75 spectrum, are just like cataclysmic for profit. And we probably have a bunch of places that are firing right now. Well, I guess not here, but in the aggregate, we probably have a lot of places firing. That's steady. This probably collapsed. This probably collapsed a little. Oh, not as bad as I had thought. I think we were... Yeah, we were trying to import it, but it was close to equilibrium anyways. I feel like we were exporting that. And then like, I think we were importing these. I think we were importing a little of these, importing those. GDP tanked by like 29 million. Income went from minus 30 to minus 400k. Yeah. Just reshore your production back home rather than depending on the world market. I mean, that's what politicians are saying today. Yeah, but that's like... The thing about Victoria 3 that I find interesting is like trying to play optimally. That's like super not optimal, just like not trading. It's also crazy how the trade routes boost your economy with how the AI leeches tools, steel engines, and so on because it doesn't build those itself and would. Yeah, that's a... but also, it's super significant on the split goods here, right? It's really significant for these goods because we have significantly more expensive glass, furniture, and basic clothing. And so that tanks the price of these because we can still build more of these. And so we get to like this weird situation where we just like the balance on these like just all super collapse because this went down. Like, and the price, this price should go, yeah, this should have gone up a little bit. So, you just joined, why did it collapse? We deleted all of our trade routes. We deleted all of our trade routes because trade is a significant cause of lag, and I just wanted to show why. And the game went from basically just like not moving at all to like flying. But the thing is like trade should only recalc on the Monday. It's really stupid that it calcs every like tick. Yeah. Make America isolated again. Oof. The truth hurts. Isolationism, please. Anyways, I think we're gonna wrap up here. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow morning. So in a few hours actually, really. Just wanted to kind of take a look at some of the companies under the mod, which I think we're gonna add, and then we're gonna do the USA flavor mod. This is an example of one of the companies that it gets added here, which we'll probably use because we'll be playing as the USA. Feels weird to just like run back the USA. Maybe we gotta play a different country and then come back to the USA or something like this. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a little bit of a think of this. It calculates every tick. What the fuck? Yeah, this is my understanding. Because it's not just making our Monday slower, right? Like, every single one of our ticks was ungodly slow, and now it's faster. My understanding is it calculates every tick, yeah. Pookie, I tried to donate on this stream elements, and you got an IS internal service error. Oh no. Really? Let me see if I can fix that. That's probably something I should have fixed, huh? But you could, yeah, you did. Maybe I'll just fix this later. Well. Because I also, in case you didn't notice,
it's better outside with a...
No, it's not better outside. I updated, my thing, my descriptions on my videos and my stream, and so that must have bricked it. I feel like the link works for me. You could probably check traded once a month and be okay. Yeah. The problem is you want routes to increase in size. When you initially put them in, you want them to increase in size relatively quickly, I guess. But like, is that even a good thing? Might be stream elements themselves. Yeah, so like the link is working. I don't know what it is. I love how the automatic like recommended tip is 420 though. I didn't put that in. That was just like how they put it in. It was like 333, 690, 1337 or other. Just like all the meme numbers. Everything has emojis now. True. But yeah, that might be on their end. The link is working, so I didn't brick the link. I have to make it look nicer though. But that's like, I don't know, maybe there's a way to fix this. I have no idea. This isn't my forte. I'd really love to like not have to kill all my trade routes to make run work though. We could just do literally only the big ones, but then like This is like so valuable for us on so many levels. It also causes more fragmentation when we put in trade, right? Because it also creates, what is it, these, right? Which has employment, obviously, and so this creates more fragmentation. You know, it's kind of wild how Vic 3 captures the idea that capitalist markets are like these crazy puzzles that can be perfectly solved by a centralized computer. Does it really correctly capture it? I feel like it doesn't. I think you Z baseballer sounds pretty base, to be honest. For the follow, big nice. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up. I think we'll say goodbye to the YouTubers first. Or let's say goodbye to the Twitchers first. I think we say goodbye to the YouTubers first more often, because what ends up happening is that I want to raid on Twitch, and then let's raid Sayusa. I want to raid on Twitch, and then like, but I want to say goodbye to you guys in even amount on each side. So we're gonna say goodbye to the Twitchers first. We're going to say goodbye, Twitchers, and then we will also say goodbye to the YouTubers. Godspeed. We'll see you on the other side. We'll be streaming 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, so good night, everyone. Godspeed.